Going live. Hello and welcome everybody to Haar Disciples Baseball. I'm Nolan West, and here is Ty Erickson today. Tim Collins is actually out for the next 2 weeks, right? He won't be here next week either.
That's correct.
So, yeah, we're going to have some stand-ins for the next couple weekends, and yeah, we're just going to try and keep everybody filled in, try and fill the big shoes of Mr. Collins, and yeah, I hope you all just enjoy the games.
We have an exciting time right now, too.
Yep.
Disciples coming off, currently in a 4-game winning streak, finding themselves back in playoff contention. A sweep, 2 shutouts of the Hünstetten Storm, and last week on the road, taking 2 victories from the Stuttgart Reds.
Definitely. And yeah, so the next 2 weekends are really big weekends for the Disciples. Tough games, of course, but if they're able to, take a game away in these 2 games each weekend, if they can just get one, that'll be huge for them in these upcoming 4 games. So
Absolutely.
We'll see if they can stay hot, see if the offense can pick up a little bit, and if the pitching can stay as good as it's been, and they've got a good shot at it.
On the other side of the diamond, Heidenheim, with their first 2 losses of the season against Mainz last week. The schedule last week had teams playing back-to-back games, 4 games against 1 opponent, and both Mainz and Heidenheim pretty much locks for the playoffs. And we saw the talent that Mainz still maintains by taking 2 games from league leader Heidenheim.
Yeah, it really just goes to show, I think I've heard you guys talk about it on other streams too, just how close, like, at least the top 4 or 5 teams are this year. Like, anybody can take a game or 2 away from anybody this season, it seems like. It's really just about who shows up that day, whose defense and offense is on point, and so we're just going to see what happens today. So we got Nick Michelli warming up on the mound, and he has been sensational his last few starts. I heard you talking about it before the game. His stats are really impressive coming off his last few starts.
And that's true. He's got an 18-inning scoreless streak going, dating back to his start against the Regensburg Legionäre. He allowed 1 run in the first inning to the Legionäre and hasn't allowed a run since.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, especially as we get to these longer games. Sorry, it's getting pretty loud here. Especially when we have the longer games, since we're not playing a doubleheader today. We have 2 9s this weekend, and so if your starting pitchers can go deep in these 9-inning games, it's really, really vital and super helpful for your team, especially when you're a group of guys like the Disciples, who hasn't necessarily been so hot at the plate this season. So the defense really needs to just stay on top of things and give the offense a chance to keep them in the game. So
that has been the Disciples' strength. You said it. Pitching and defense. When they do those 2 things, they keep themselves in the game, and they'll pester opponents with small ball, find a way to manufacture runs, and if their pitching and defense holds, then they're going to give Heidenheim 2 great games this weekend.
Yeah. And so up at the plate here, Schultz.
First pitch from Nick Michelli is a strike on the outside corner. Schultz batting left-handed, the shortstop. And a second strike.
Yep. Filling up the zone. That's the way he's been pitching. He pitches to contact a lot, just likes to make guys put it in play. And a base hit into right field. And that's what Heidenheim is probably going to do. They are an offensive threat on the field all the time, and so it can be a bit of a mixed match in pitching when you have a guy like Michelli who actually comes out and throws a lot of strikes, doesn't necessarily have overpowering stuff, So it's going to be up to him to really hit his spots, and up to Thorpe behind the plate to call these pitches. Try and keep their offense in line.
Yeah, Heidenheim's a good hitting team, 1-9. Multiple national team players, league leaders in multiple statistical categories.
Good pick off from Michelli there.
At bat now, Gary Owens. The center fielder leads the league in home runs with 4 currently.
Got a short lead over at first. Don't know if he has much speed. And he goes. Foul ball down the left field line.
It looks like Nick was coming with an off-speed pitch, and Gary just got a little bit ahead of it. Hard contact right down the line. Schultz picking up signs as he walks back towards first base. See if they put a hit and run on again.
Thorpe with the good block there.
And Schultz staying put at first base this time.
Yeah, Michelli, especially with that medium leg kick there, is not the fastest move to home plate, so if he can get a good jump, he definitely in contention to steal here. Relatively short lead still, though. Didn't stop him from going last time. Pick off from Michelli. Safe at first.
Schultz not necessarily a threat to steal this year. Just 2 attempts. Caught on one of those.
Ball in the dirt. Blocked by Thorpe.
Another great work by Will. That's his bread and butter. He's a wall behind the plate. I'd like to thank Alex Tufts for running the replay for us today. Takes
And helping set everything up.
takes 3 of us to fill Tim's shoes.
Runner, ball in the air to left field. Runner's going back. 1 out by the Disciples. Schmidt out there with an easy fly ball.
Next up to bat, Sean Larry. The right fielder, also a staple on the national team. Digs in at the back of the box.
And one thing you can expect from at least having a lot of national team guys is just experience. Having that experience on your team is always great. Oh, quick pickoff. No move, no real move though. No throw.
Long hold from Michelli. The fastball inside. Larry takes. You talk about the confidence and stability that experience brings to a team. That's certainly an attribute that Heidenheim demonstrates for a longer period now. And ball.
Thorpe looking over at first. He's getting a nice extended lead on the pitch over there, but doesn't necessarily seem to be looking to steal at this point anymore. Got 1 out, so the Disciples should definitely be looking for a double play ball here.
The 2-0 pitch is high. You have to ask yourself if they're just trying to pitch around Larry tactically. This guy has a ton of power. Just a couple years ago, he hit 27 home runs, which, if you calculate what that is per game. In a 28-game season, that is nearly 1 home run per game.
It's a pretty productive season, so they'll send them to first base on 4 straight balls. That's okay. Now we get to the 4-hitter here.
And that's Bill Germain.
But one thing that also comes into play in this matchup is that Heidenheim's home stadium is much smaller compared to the Haar Disciples. You get a short fences in left and right, smaller fences height-wise overall. So a lot of times you see teams that do have a lot of power guys come to Haar and they hit balls that would be home runs in their home stadium that they're used to getting out relatively easily, and they find their way to the warning track or even short or in the fence here. So
a squib off the end of the bat by Germain. Slips through. Wallace unable to wrangle it. Kicks off his glove, and Lechner at second base unable to flip the ball and try to get him at first base. So we now have bases loaded with 1 out for the 5 batter, which is Simon Göring, playing at first base today.
And that's definitely not what you want to see as a pitcher or fielder in the first inning. You want to come out, you want to have a nice clean inning. Of course, the Disciples still have a chance to shut them down and not give up any runs, but having simple errors like that can really affect the mental game of your guys. And so you want to come out clean, but we'll see how the Disciples recover here.
And corner infielders are in, trying to play the double play to home. Fastball up and in to Göring. Middle infielders are back.
Chelly back in the windup here, hoping he feels a little more comfortable in that position. Little off-speed pitch.
Drops one in there. Göring swings through a changeup inside, puts the count at 1-2.
Yeah, an out is huge here for the Disciples. Something on the ground that gets an out without a run scoring.
Any way you can get it.
Yeah, anything without a run scoring is big for them here.
Just misses inside. 2-2 the count. And the windup from Michelli. Fouls it back. No, and you talk about the dimensions of this park, and I know the listeners, regular listeners, have heard Tim talk about it before. The distances to the fence are some of the highest in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add a 30-foot fence on top of it, essentially a green monster all the way around an already deep park.
Ooh, close pitch up and in there. It's not what you want to see. Brings it to a full count here, so big situation already here in the first inning. But yeah, just on any fence, adding that extra height adds, basically a certain amount of distance you have to hit the ball, because hitting the ball high and far is difficult.
Göring swings and misses. The ball clanks out of Thorpe's glove, but he's able to keep it in front of him. That'll go down as a strikeout for 2 outs now in the inning. That'll put the defense a little bit more at ease. Corners are able to relax. That's an important strikeout right there.
Yeah, that's huge. That's actually huge. It puts the defense, who might have lost a little confidence there, back onto their toes now instead of on their heels, since nobody's a little nervous now. You have a force out at every base at this point, so things get a little bit easier from here. So let's see if they can do the Michelli thing, get a nice ground ball here, and end this inning.
And off-speed pitch for a strike.
Yeah, it's interesting to actually see him come out here first time through the lineup and opening a lot of these guys up backwards, pitching them backwards, starting them with the off speed instead of a fastball. I mean, it's a team they've already played before, so you don't want them to get too comfortable early on.
Another off-speed pitch from Michelli. Draws a swing from the catcher, Vavrusa.
And it's also one of those things early, you definitely want to find at least one pitch that you're comfortable with to get a strike. It looks like he's been missing a little bit with the fastball so far, so if he's got, looks to be a little changeup. Nice hit out there to center field, but not enough. And Rosenthal reels it in.
Looked like Vavrusa didn't put a full swing on it, made solid contact, but that ball was squared up right to Rosenthal.
Okay, so that brings us the end of the top of the first. And this broadcast is brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. We'll be back in a bit.
So 0 runs for the Heideköpfe in the top half. We start the bottom half of the inning with catcher William Thorpe.
Yeah, close inning there for the Disciples. See if they can answer back, put some pressure on Heidenheim here.
Starting pitcher Sven Schuler. Another national team player. We'll be saying that often for this team. Sven also played 2 seasons in the Dodgers organization.
Good stroke there from Will Thorpe out to left center. Little blooper, diving catch. Did he make it? The umpire says yes, that is an out.
What a play by center fielder Gary Owens. He went the distance for that play.
Yeah, that was a long run, flat out, like full dive. That was a great play.
What an exciting catch.
That's an interesting way to start for the Heideköpfe. Definitely exciting for the fans here.
Tough break for Will. Think you've got a seeing eye hit and stolen from you. Pitch from Schuler, low and outside. Up now, third baseman Pat Music. Schuler throws another fastball high. Music came to the Disciples just about a month ago. Late addition to the roster.
Yeah, and I think he's been performing really well on defense so far. How's he doing offensively at this point?
He's 6 for 28.
Okay. Well, it's about on line with most of the guys on the Disciples right now.
It's actually better than the average. The team's Disciples are batting, I don't know if we want to make this public information, 191. Not a great offensive start to the season. Patrick draws the walk. Saunters down to first base. Bringing up Nate Thomas.
Offensive baseball is a tricky thing, and you feed off your teammates like that. It's very rare to be on a team where everybody's not hitting well and, you know, there's like one guy who's hitting really well. You don't really see that. Everybody kind of feeds off each other's energy. Nate-John Thomas with a line drive to left field there, and it is caught straight to him. Didn't hardly have to move.
The ball was on a line. Yeah, you talk about contagious hitting. That just hasn't been possible with the team this year. That it's worked on the other side of the ball, the pitching, the defense, but offensively it just hasn't clicked yet for the team.
Yeah, and it's hard, but you get some wind under your belt like they've done the last few games, and you can definitely start to see the bats come alive at any point. These guys definitely have the capability to put up some runs. It's just about piecing it together. Like, everybody has to come together at times. You know, you get a guy like Music who draws a walk here. You need to be able to move him over, get him in scoring position, and bring that run in. So we'll see what they can do here.
Shortstop Cal Murphy fouls one back. Counts 1-1. Cal was plugged into shortstop when last year's shortstop Francisco went back to play in Italy. And you ask your shortstop to do a lot. They're the captain on the field for the defense, and Cal has done a terrific job this year filling that hole. Sliding over from second base last year to shortstop this year. He's played terrific defense, and his hitting is starting to pick up as well. I think he started the season hitting below 100, but he's brought his average up to 222, and he's sporting a 413 on base percentage.
Nice.
He's finding a way on, and
yeah,
just keep chipping away.
That's so important. If you're not hitting well, you have to find a way to battle and just get your way on base. If it's walk, if it's getting hit by pitches, even if it's getting struck out and running your way down there on a missed ball, like, any way you can is so important. And as we see here, now we have runners in scoring position as Cal draws a walk.
And that's the second walk in a row from Schuler. You can imagine Joe Rosenthal, center fielder coming up now, is going to be patient, try to find his pitch. It seems like Schuler's been throwing a lot of fastballs and just keeping them low, just not finding a spot across the plate.
Rosenthal's definitely had a few clutch hits this season, so usually they're late in the game, but can always come up clutch early here. Take a quick lead early in the first inning would be huge for the Disciples here. So see if he can find a gap, and if Music can put some speed on and score from second base. That's what the Disciples are looking to do right now.
Joe swings at off speed down. We see the outfielders hugging the lines.
Yeah, big gaps in left and right center right now. It's actually a little bit dangerous for a guy like Joe Rosenthal, who's definitely got speed. If he can find a gap here where the fence is deep, that's an easy triple for him. So see what he can do. Well,
change up away. Joe swings over the top of it, and that will be the third out of the inning. Disciples leave two stranded, and we go to the top of the second.
And this is Disciples Baseball, brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. Okay, here we are, back with Haar Disciples baseball. Top of the second inning, it's 0-0. Sorry that the score isn't updating. We do our score automatically through Easy Score, and it's not coming through on the website right now either, so I'm just going to have to hang in there. Michelli with a first pitch strike to the leadoff hitter here of Luca Huga. High breaking ball, strike from Michelli.
Huger batting .267 for the Heideköpfe this year.
Drops down a little bit sidearm there. Foul ball down the right field line.
Michelli came to the Disciples as a utility player. See him working quickly, already ready to deliver the next pitch. Playing for the champions Bonn Capitals last year.
Yeah, he's definitely brings some good tempo. And that is a swinging foul ball here, so the count stays at 1-2.
He's incredibly versatile. I think he probably expected to play in the field more this year, but when you see the success that he's had on the mound, you can't argue with him becoming your starting pitcher.
He's a team player through and through. We got a breaking ball outside, and he fouls it down the right field line. He's got a good battle here, but Michelli's sticking close to the zone. He doesn't really pitch for the strikeout, so wants to see contact. He wants to keep the tempo up, keep his team in it. Foul ball straight back. Count still 1-2 here. That's 6 pitches into this at bat. Breaking ball down the middle. Swinging strike 3. Wilthorpe drops it, but he tags him out, and that will be 1 out for the Haar Disciples. Top of the second here. Here comes the replay of that. We usually have a little replay overlay here, but that's also not functioning correctly at the moment. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties. But so I'll try to announce whenever there is a replay at this point. First pitch is inside, ball 1. Monty at the plate, number 22 here, the second baseman. Swinging strike 1. Counts 1-1.
Michelli doing a great job of working in and out. He's throwing his off speed and his fastball right exactly where he wants it.
Strike 2, fastball down the middle. He's really good at mixing people up. He'll change his arm angle, he'll change the pitches. He will do whatever it takes to get a bit of a lead.
The foul ball down the first base side. Counts 1-2.
Michelli comes set here. We'll mix up on the windup there. Ground ball to the third baseman. Music throws it to first. That will be out number 2 for Haar Disciples.
And we have a full stadium here in Haar. Disciples were organizing their O-Toms baseball camp for kids over this Pfingsten weekend. Good crowd.
We got plenty of Heidenheim fans here with the noisemakers and everything, so it gets a little rowdy sometimes. It's ball 1 from Michelli, low and away.
Good vibes in the stadium today.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Some pickup game over in foul territory on the first baseline on the kids field. Barbecue's up and running. Long line for burgers today.
A little bit up with that breaking pitch there from Michelli. We have Konstantin Hole at the plate here. Ball down and away.
Whole batting 273.
Yeah, even to have your 9-hitter batting over 250, you can just tell that they're solid throughout the lineup.
And not a lot of the Disciples are hitting that good this year.
So to have your whole lineup like that, you know you're going to be an offensive threat in this league. Fastball in, and that will be ball 4. First walk on the day here from Michelli.
Yeah, you hate to give him a free pass to the 9-hitter.
Yeah, of course.
Rolls it over to the shortstop, Philip Schultz.
Defense.
So 2 outs for the Disciples.
Yep, all it takes is 1 here. So it's not the worst thing to put the 9-hitter on, especially if you can get the 3rd out on the leadoff hitter here. The ball's down.
With a lefty up to bat and the first baseman holding the runner on gives you a little bit of a disadvantage. A bigger holdover on the right side for
definitely. We'll see if they try and pitch away to him here. But they've been pretty confident with their pitch selections so far, so it could be anywhere. Pickoff from Michelli. Didn't switch over there. But he wasn't very far off the bag, so easy step back.
The hole is a threat to run. He's got 6 attempts this season. 5 of them have been successful. We see
Ball
a
in the
pop-up.
air. Shallow left field. Murphy calls it and reels it in, and that will be out number 3 for the Disciples. That'll bring us to the bottom of the 2nd here in Haar. And this broadcast is brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. Okay, and here we come to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Lucas Bickel leading off for the Haar Disciples.
Still 0-0.
Foul ball, straight back.
First pitch swinging from Bickel.
Both pitchers are flooding the zone today, so if we see one team start to pick up on offense here, we could definitely see some runs being scored. Nobody's being pitched around this game, that's for sure.
And Bickel has a right to be aggressive. Takes a strike on the outside corner. He leads the team in batting.
Okay.
Not a surprise. Was the batting champ in Austria last year.
Yeah, new addition to the Disciples this year. So it's always good to see new guys performing. It's a ball low and away. Counts 1-1 here. Fastball down the middle, big swing from Bickel. I guess the count was 1-2, and that'll be strike 3 to Bickel. So the Disciples are going to start this inning at a little bit of a disadvantage. But coming up next is Simon Lechner. And he's always one that can find his way on base. You just never know with these guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's certainly something that Simon is known for. Lechner.
He's always going to work the count deep. He's always going to have a tight zone. And here he comes out actually a little bit aggressive. Fly ball into left field down the line. And the left fielder makes an easy catch out there. And that will be out number 2 for the Disciples. So Heidenheim working quick this inning. It's already 2 outs in 5 pitches there. And so it will be up to Neil Schmidt to see if we can extend this inning a little bit.
Still big gaps in the outfield. I wonder what the scouting report Heidenheim had on the Disciples.
Strike 1 to Neil Schmidt. Fastball on the outside corner.
And Schmidt is a big guy. And when he makes contact, the ball carries.
I don't know if that was a fastball. It looked more like a changeup to me, but threw it inside, caught the corner, missed a spot, but that will still be strike 2 to Schmidt here. So now he needs to battle. Swinging foul ball here from Schmidt. Count stays at 0-2. And one thing I've actually liked to see from the Disciples so far today is they've been aggressive at the plate. That's actually one thing that has driven me crazy in the past about our team and other teams in this league in general, is having approaches where you leave a lot of strikes on the plate, just giving the pitchers free, just getting them ahead at your expense. And yeah, today the Disciples have come to swing the bat. Ball outside, taken from Schmidt.
And with a pitcher like Schuler, who's around the zone, there's really no need to wait for him to throw you a strike. You can jump on the fastball that you see.
Fastball up,
Fastball
taken
up.
by Schmidt. Brings it to 2-2. Broken bat sounded like. Fly ball into short right field. Runs in and makes the catch, and that will be out number 3 from the Disciples. Yeah, ball a bit up and in, caught him right on the hands, and I'm pretty sure that bat has seen its last game so far. But this is Haar Disciples baseball. This will bring us into the top of the 3rd inning, and this broadcast is brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu.
Wir sind zurück in Haar, obere Hälfte des 3. Innings. Mit Gary Owens am Schlag, der Centerfielder für die Heideköpfe. Michele kommt set. Und fängt wieder mit einem Off-Speed-Pitch an. Jetzt aber hoch, Ball 1. Und wieder ein Off-Speed-Pitch von Michelli. Dieses Mal tief. 2-0 Count.
Strike one with a nice curveball there from Michelli. Counts 2-1. The score is still 0-0, even though it's still showing the first inning on easy score. Nobody's put up a run yet. That's a fly ball to left field. Schmidt running back near the warning track and makes a nice, relatively easy catch there.
Yeah,
and here comes the replay of that.
Saw a contact by Owens.
Maybe not. Too many.
Owens has a ton of power. He's got 9 extra base hits this season. But that one is kept in the park. Schmidt chases it down.
If we have a slight wind blowing in from about left center right now, so any ball that's in the air towards the left side is going to have tough time carrying out of this park, especially since we already talked about the dimensions of this place and that high fence out there. Higher the ball gets, the more it's affected by the wind. It's not going to travel if you get it up in the sky.
1-1 count to the right fielder, Sean Larry. Michelli coming set. Throws an off-speed pitch. Change up for a 1-2 count.
Good pitch from Michelli. Close one there. You could tell Thorpe thought it was a good pitch as well. Umpire signals that he thought it was actually a bit inside, but Thorpe stuck it in there and really held it to let him know he thought that one was a strike.
And another off-speed pitch. Draws a swing from Larry. Misses, and Thorpe throws it around the horn. 2 outs for the Disciples. Yeah, I like to see this with Michelli able to keep runners off the bases.
Yeah, this is a good response right now to Heidenheim's last inning. I think he got out of that last inning in just about 9 pitches, and so to see Michelli coming in and working fast as well sends a message. They're ready to play on both sides. Still pitching to contact.
First pitch of Jermaine is outside for a ball.
And I love it when Michelli drops down to that sidearm angle like that. You don't see too many pitchers do that. That was something that I actually did as well, just to mess with guys. A lot of people think it can definitely mess with your consistency, but it can definitely throw hitters off. And
he's seeing success with it today.
Yeah.
You see a big swing from Jermaine. Fastball inside for a ball. Makes it count 2-1. Jermaine swinging out of his shoes for that pitch, but it falls off the table. Yeah, another ball low.
And he is working quick here from the windup. He's thrown 3 pitches in about the last 20 seconds, so he is moving along.
Jermaine trying to buy himself some time by stepping out.
He is ready for the pitch clock changes. Big hit deep down the left field line, but it is going to go quite a ways foul. Schmidt running out there, out of the field, into the batting cages, and that ball is going to drop, and it's going to be a foul ball. It was well out of play by the time Schmidt made it over there.
Long strike.
Yeah, but you can see even like that ball, if you hit that same ball in Heidenheim, that is going to be 30 feet over the fence.
Deep into the forest.
Yeah. And here, with the wind blowing in, that ball probably would have dropped about 3 meters short of the fence if it had stayed fair.
Michelli coming set. Full count. Another off-speed pitch, roped. Foul down the third base line by Jermaine. He's able to see these off-speed pitches now. He was fooled by the first one.
Michelli hung that one a little bit too. It was high and right down the middle belt. Like as a hitter, that's the off-speed pitch you do want to hit if he's going to throw you anyone. So.
And ball 4 to Jermaine. He'll take first base. Still 2 outs for the Disciples.
That was a close pitch. You could tell Thorpe wasn't really happy about that one either. It looked like a changeup from Michelli there, and Thorpe stuck it when he caught it. He held it there for a second or two to let the umpire know that he didn't like that call. And
it didn't miss by much.
No, was it inside? It looked inside to you?
It may have been.
And that changeup generally from right-handers has run from left to right into right-handers like that. So especially if it's a circle change, I don't exactly know what changeup he throws, but
strike on the outside corner to the first baseman, Simon Göring.
Still 2 outs here for the Disciples. Heidenheim trying to make something happen with 2 here. The runner on first.
Michelli in the stretch, coming set.
That ball is fouled straight back at us.
We've got an 0-2 count. Michelli probably looking to work the corners. Maybe not likely to induce a swing. Try to pick at the corners, see if he can.
Big rally cry here from the Heidenheim Heideköpfe. Everybody wants to see runs on the board.
Here's the pitch. And he does draw the swing from Göring, who pops it up into shallow center field. Then it will fall in front of Rosenthal for a single. And Heideköpfe stringing a couple things together now. Runners at first and second.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see as a pitcher for the Disciples. You throw a good pitch there, you catch the hitter off balance, and he just kind of throws the bat out there, catches it right on the end of the bat, and lobs it in there just in the right spot where nobody can catch it, but that's baseball, so.
Texas leaguer.
The old punching Judy.
The catcher, Daniel Vavrusa, now up to bat.
So Michelli's still going to be working to contact here. Need to be careful because a single can definitely score a run at this point.
Chops a foul down the third base line.
So we got Neil Schmidt in left field, playing a little bit closer to the line. Big gap out there in left center at this point. Rosenthal's a little bit off to the right, it looks like.
Here's the 0-1 pitch from Michelli. Another off-speed pitch. Thorpe able to block it, keeps it in front of him. Runner's not going anywhere.
Both catchers have been pretty consistent back there today. No pass balls at this point yet, which is good to see.
There's a lot of experience in these two catchers. The former minor leaguer Vavrusa, originally from the Czech Republic.
Such an important position to have it too. I mean, you talk about the shortstop controlling, like being the captain of your defense basically, but the catcher is kind of on a whole nother level here. Shot into left center field where the gap is. Schmidt's able to get behind it though. Runner coming in from second. He throws the ball to third base. And that will be the first run of the game going over to the Heidenheim Heideköpfe.
And just an easy swing from Vavrusa there. Pokes the ball out into left field.
Just a nice solid line drive out there for a single. And we have Coach Ryan Bollinger coming out here to talk to Michelli.
And that scored Jermaine from second base. And we've still got runners on first and second.
2 outs for the Disciples. But yeah, so Heidenheim strikes first in this game. We are in the top of the third, right?
That's correct.
So
after getting the first 2 quick outs, Michelli allowing 3 base runners.
yeah, that's frustrating as a pitcher. I mean, he started it off like after 2 outs with a walk there and then a little hit that just keeps things going. And that's the kind of stuff that can really just bring a team to life. So he needs to find a way to shut him down here, get his team back in the dugout.
And the
Thorpe with the throw back behind. He is called safe.
Yeah, with a close ball 4 for the first walk to put a runner on, and then a little dink single out into center field. Not a great feeling. You feel like you've got those guys on the wrong foot, and they're still able to find a way, and then brings up an experienced hitter, and Vavrusa is able to drive in the run.
Not the end of the world at this point for the Disciples, though. 1 run. I don't know if they've had any shutout games this season so far. So 1 run isn't out of the ordinary for them. It's just going to be up to the offense to come back and get a couple to keep them in the game.
1-1 count. The pitch and a swing from the batter.
Caught him off with that breaking pitch again. He's thrown a lot of them this game. I'd like to see the breakdown on percentage of fastballs to off-speed pitches so far. It's got to be close to 50-50 at this point.
Hooger on the wrong foot for that pitch. And again out in front, taps one to the shortstop. Murphy will tag the base in time for the 3rd out of the inning. And the Disciples escape without any further damage. 1 run on a couple hits and a walk. And we'll go to the bottom half of the inning.
Yep, and this broadcast is brought to you by Brouwerij Wildbrooi. Thanks for tuning in.
Wallace will lead off the bottom half of the 3rd inning for the Disciples. It is a 1-0 game for the Heideköpfe, taking the lead in that half inning. We get a line drive to the second baseman, who's able to scoop it and throws out Wallace at first base. Easy score with a little bit of a lag. Our apologies. We do not control where the base runners are marked on easy score.
It's okay. But, like I said, I still like to see the Disciples coming out, striking balls hard, not putting themselves behind in the count.
Will Thorpe steps up to bat with 1 out. Will having a very uncharacteristic season, sporting a 152 batting average. He's led the team in most categories in the past. Speaking of still looking for that spark.
He's been in the league a long time. I mean, definitely a veteran. at this point.
He's in his 8th season with the Disciples as he takes a fastball for a strike on the inside corner.
And it's just one of those things, like, eventually, not necessarily because of age or skill diminishing or anything, but eventually you're going to have a bad season. Everybody has a bad season eventually.
Will pokes one down the first base line, and it falls fair. Little Bermuda triangle out there. Right fielder charging in. Larry not able to get to it. Not sure if it was miscommunication or if it just found a hole. Will take the hit.
And the Disciples will definitely take having a leadoff runner on.
Third baseman Pat Music up to bat now. We've got one out here in the bottom of the third.
Music on with the walk last time, so he took the count pretty deep.
He takes a ball outside.
And he's going to be looking to start this inning off with as many base runners as possible for the Disciples. That's what you want to see here.
He looks down the third base line, gets the sign from head coach and third base coach Boomer Saunders, and he pokes one foul. Foul on the first base line. 1-1 count.
By quite a ways. Seems a little late on that fastball. You know, maybe he was looking for an off-speed pitch there, but he did put good contact on it, even though he was a bit late, just well outside the stadium here.
And he'll break a bat on a chopper to the first base, returns at second, gets the out. Throwback to first is not in time. Cal's able to beat it out, but Thorpe out on the force play at second base.
Yeah, Patrick does actually have some good speed on him for not such a big guy out there. He's got some wheels, so he's pretty easily able to beat out that double play on a slow ground ball he hit. And maybe we should get a counter up here, but I'm pretty sure that was broken bat number 2 here today for Schüler.
Brennholz.
We got one out here. The Tayshawn Thomas up at bat. Runner on first.
Right fielder lined out to left field in his first at bat as he sees a strike on the first pitch. 0-1 to Thomas. Looking down, picking up signs. And the pitch from Schüler. And a late break from the runner at first, and he's in time. He gets into second base before the throw. Looked like a delayed steal from Music. And it works. And the Disciples have a runner at second base. Runner in scoring position for Nate Thomas. So with 2 outs, Disciples able to get a runner in scoring position. And you got the right guy up to bat for put him across.
Yeah, definitely. Having a veteran up at plate with a runner in scoring position, there's nothing more you can look for. So Disciples definitely want to get that 1 run back here.
Nate's hitting .294 this season. Strangely enough, he's a career .294 hitter.
Nice. Staying consistent.
Nate has 19 career Bundesliga home runs, spread over 7 seasons with the Disciples. It's probably a couple more than that, actually. He played for the Bad Homburg Hornets before settling in Munich.
Yeah, he's got a guy that's got great pop from the left and right side, actually.
And they're not even going to mess with him. They're going to pitch around Nate, put him on first base, use the open base to their advantage. You just saw Schüler working away with each of those pitches. And Nate will take it. Disciples have runners at first and second. Brings up the shortstop, Cal Murphy.
So we'll see what Murphy can do here. At this point, you just don't want to hit into a double play here with 1 out. give your team a chance. So if he can put a ball in the outfield, that's going to be best case scenario for the Disciples here.
First pitch ball to Murphy, fastball away.
Music does have a little bit of speed coming from second base, so if you can get a ball past the infield, that run from second should score. Outfield's relatively deep, so they're not going to stop a short line drive or anything.
And the pitch is called a ball. Cal digs in, and Schuler coming set. And that fastball at Murphy's head, he ducks out of the way and gives a chuckle.
We have seen Schuler miss a couple pitches, like balls coming out of his hand a little bit. A couple of his misses have been pretty big so far. That one just missed towards the hitter. And the other ones so far have missed away from the hitter. But no harm, no foul at this point in the game.
3-0 pitch. Catches the inside corner for a strike, 3-1. And Murphy would certainly be happy with a walk here. But he swings and fouls off the next pitch from Schuler down the first baseline. And we're going to have a full count. You would imagine with 2 outs, the runners are going to be put in motion.
And you can tell he's not happy that he missed that pitch there. That was a fastball, thigh high, maybe a little bit towards the outside corner, but that is a very, very hittable pitch, and he was a little bit flustered that he missed that one. So now he needs to regroup, battle here with 2 strikes.
And he swings and fouls off another pitch. And we'll redo it. That pitch was not quite as juicy as the one before it.
No, but you can tell at least he made the adjustment into this 2-strike account. Here he is going to be swinging at anything close at this point and trying to just poke something in a gap here.
The runner's in motion again, and the ball's inside for ball 4. And we've got bases loaded with 2 outs. All right, then that brings up the number 5 hitter, Joe Rosendahl, center fielder. And Disciples threatening. A good situation to find yourself in.
Rosendahl already chanced to bring in runners in scoring position today, and he ended up striking out. So he gets a chance at redemption here with the bases loaded. And we'll see if he's able to take advantage of it for the Disciples.
Rosenthal with 6 RBIs on the season, hoping to add to that total right now. He swings at the first pitch, high fastball, and fouls it straight back. And finds himself in an 0-1 hole.
Yeah, a little bit of a chase on that one from Rosenthal. Maybe a little bit excited to get up there with the bases loaded, but ball wasn't too far out of the zone. Definitely could have put it somewhere big. But Shula is going to be doing everything he can to probably just ball into right field there.
The ball down right field line, it drifts foul, but the right fielder is able to battle the sun and make the catch. So we will go to the top of the 4th. Disciples, not your first hit, but leave the bases loaded.
This broadcast is brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu.
Monty leading off for the Heideköpfe here in the top of the 4th inning. Takes a first pitch ball. Heideköpfe with 1 run on 3 hits. Disciples able to notch their first hit in their bottom half of the inning, but unable to push a run across. So we see a little flare from Monty. Gets over the glove of the third baseman for a hit. And Heideköpfe get their leadoff on base. And Monty didn't make great contact on that swing, but it was just enough to get over the outstretched arm of the third baseman, Patrick Music.
Yeah, that's one thing that Michelli here, he doesn't allow a lot of solid contact. Even when he is giving up hits, a lot of the time, these hits are just little bloopers like that. So far, they have like 3 or 4 hits this game, and only one of them was like really solid contact, that line drive out there into left center. Few bloops so far for the Heideköpfe.
First pitch ball to the left fielder, Konstantin Hall. Next pitch from Michelli, fastball for a strike.
Hey.
1-1 count. Disciples trying to get a ground ball so that they can roll a double play and eliminate that leadoff hit from the Heideköpfe. As Monty steps out, gather himself. Didn't feel comfortable with the time. Michelli, who's been working quick all game, decided to slow things down. And here comes the pitch and a bunt attempt from Hoare. The throw from the third baseman goes to first base. Music thought about going to second base. And he read it the whole way. He jumped on that ball immediately.
Yeah, he was ready there. And you like to see that as a third baseman. He was ready to fire to second base, and he made a good read on the runner there, saw that he was too far away, and
he's able to make the play at first base, though.
Yeah.
It was close. Hall has some speed. He was booking it down the first baseline, and with the head fake to second base from Music, play at first was fairly close. But a great play by Music to make sure that you get one out in that situation. So now the Heideköpfe have a runner on second base. Lineup flips over to leadoff Philip Schultz.
Little pickoff from Michelli there. No middle infielders moving over on the Disciples. Maybe just wanted to reset.
Schultz takes a pitch. Schultz batting .333 on the season. He's driven in 2 and scored 4 runs himself. Nick Michelli coming set. Next pitch is a grounder to the second baseman. And Lechner will throw to first base for the second out. First baseman Wallace will make sure that the runner only advances to third.
Do have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs here, though. So this inning isn't over yet. Heidenheim still has a good chance to bring another run in here on the Disciples.
Especially as the Heideköpfe, the Disciples are going to have to deal with the heart of the Heideköpfe order here with 2 outs. Arguably the strongest hitter. Gary Owens gets an off-speed pitch for a ball. 1-0 count to Owens. And he takes a fastball down the middle to make it 1-1.
Yeah, Michelli really mixing up his timing now on these guys. Coming through the lineup. He slowed it down a lot, like you said. A lot of shake-offs there. I'm wondering if there's some miscommunications between him and Thorpe.
Gary Owens, another player that found success in the Bundesliga before settling with the Heideköpfe. He's in his 7th season in Heidenheim. And the foul tip is caught by Will Thorpe. And that is a clutch action by the catcher, able to scoop that foul tip and make sure it doesn't drop out of his glove and get the 3rd out. And so Heideköpfe leave a runner on 3rd base, and we go to the Disciples half of the inning with the score still 1-0.
This broadcast is brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu.
Lukas Bickel will start things off for the Disciples here in the bottom of the 4th, trailing the Heideköpfe by 1 run. First pitch from Schüler swung at by Bickel, tipped into the catcher's glove.
Yeah, clutch end of the inning, last half of the inning by the Disciples, not allowing Heidenheim to get that base runner in who was in scoring position, keeping the game at 1-0 here. So Heidenheim keeps giving the Disciples chances, and they need to capitalize on something here by getting a base runner on to start this inning off.
1-1 pitch fouled back. Bick will find himself in a 1-ball, 2-strike hole here to start the 4th inning. Bickel hasn't shown the same power in Germany that he had in Austria, but he pokes this one and it kicks foul just at the last second.
Yeah, interesting little bounce there. There's a bit of a lip on the grass here in Haar on the edges, so I think it might have just hit that, bounced a little bit left, and that is a foul ball. So it's falling a little behind in the count here. She's gonna have to dig in and battle and try and put something in a gap. Schulis still done an excellent job at keeping the tempo up for his team and filling the zone up with strikes, putting the Disciples in a position where they have to swing the bat, and so far they haven't been able to really find any holes in this defense. So
Bickel swings at the fastball up, unable to catch up to it. First out for the Heideköpfe. Brings up the second baseman, Simon Lechner.
yeah, easy scores stuck so far. It seems like it really only updates at this point when somebody scores a run. So we'll see what happens next time somebody scores something, but it seems like it's kind of stuck right now. Sorry about that, guys.
Lechner squares to bunt, pulls it back, and the call is a strike. And he seized another strike on the inside corner. 0-2 to Lechner. Sven Schüller seems to be finding a groove here now, as he unable to get the off-speed pitch under control. 1-2.
Yeah, he's working them relatively quickly.
Working quick.
And the Disciples are, yeah, they're just not capitalizing on it at this point. He's giving him fastballs in the zone. He's giving him breaking pitches in the zone.
Lechner laces one down the first baseline, but it's going to go foul.
Quite a few foul balls and things like that from the Disciples so far. They're just not putting the balls in play that they actually want to hit. So, I mean, we're not even halfway through the game yet, but they are going to have to turn something around in the second half of this game if they're not able to put something up this inning.
Pitch from Schüller.
Ball in there, and that's another big gripe I personally have about this league. A lot of players do not like to get hit by balls. You see guys jumping away from balls all the time, especially in a situation like this where your team's down a run against a good team and you need all the base runners you can get. If he throws you,
and you would expect more from a guy like Lechner, who prides himself on finding ways on base.
Yeah, exactly.
Sports a high on base percentage.
Lechner with a high fly ball to the right fielder there. Nothing much had to be done by the right fielder. Took a few steps in and made an easy catch for out number 2 there.
Nils Schmidt, left fielder, up to bat now.
Yeah, it is one of those things that it needs to be a team-wide kind of attitude, too. You need to be able to sacrifice yourself a little bit if you're not hitting to find your way on base. And so far, the Disciples haven't had that mentality, at least when it comes to taking pitches to get hit by a pitch.
Schmidt finds himself in a 0-2 hole relatively quickly. First pitch on the inside corner, second pitch on the outside corner. And strike 3. Disciples, quiet bats in the bottom half of the 4th. And
clean inning by Schüller there. So it looks like he's ready to play at this point, and the Disciples' bats are still sleeping. But yeah, thanks for watching, and this broadcast is brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. We will be coming into the top of the 5th inning. Sorry, I'm working on the tech, get a little lost here, but this broadcast brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu.
Nick Michelli takes the mound in the top of the 5th. Back out there.
I'd be interested to see if, given a little bit of struggling in the last couple innings, a few more base runners than before, if he's going to go back to speeding up the tempo a bit.
Yeah, it depends how you classify struggles. I think if you told Nick that he'd be working in the 5th inning with just giving up 1 run and on
right.
4 hits,
You're right.
he'd take it. But he has allowed a couple more runners than he certainly would want, putting himself in positions of having to pitch with pressure.
Yeah, when I used to pitch, I was always just trying to avoid pressure as much as possible. So if I were him, I'd switch back to what was working before, but if he's comfortable with it, more power to him.
He's able to get ahead of the right fielder, Sean Larry, 0-2. And third pitch is a bit outside. Puts the count to 1-2. Wind up in the pitch. Off speed is fouled straight back.
Hung that one a little bit. That's scary on an 0-2 pitch.
Especially with a hitter of his caliber. You know that he's just going to be sitting when he's behind in the count. And 1-2 pitch from Michelli.
Ball in the dirt. Good stop by Thorpe. Still no pass balls this game. Like to see it. Means the pitchers are close to the zone and the catchers are doing their job back there.
2 balls and 2 strikes as Larry takes his time getting back into the box. Michelli ready to deliver. Back to his quick delivery. Line drive down the first baseline goes foul. Larry wondering how he wasn't able to sit for that one as he did the one before. Out in front of it.
Yeah, a lot of breaking pitches still from Michelli. He seems pretty comfortable throwing that, I don't know if it's a slider or like a tight curveball, but he's comfortable throwing it early in the count, late in the count. For him, it's a nice go-to strike pitch.
It does seem like he's using his fastball to set up his off-speed pitches a lot more. He gets a fastball, and Larry crushes this.
That ball landed
over
in the
right
tree
field
out there.
Over the right field fence, and we talked about how big this stadium is, and that ball was so well hit.
Yep.
Larry knew that it was still out over that massive
That's a home run anywhere, pretty much any stadium. And newly, even the rule this year is that you have to hit it over that top fence even. So got it completely out of there into the trees, and that will be a solo home run for Leary, putting the score at 2-0 Heidenheim here at the top of the 5th.
Cleanup hitter Bill Germain, third baseman. Gets started with an off-speed pitch called low. Michelli have to go through the gauntlet of some serious power in this lineup for the Heideköpfe.
Third base coach having to make a little dip, dive, and dodge over there to get out of the way of that one.
Germain ropes it foul right over Klaus Eckler's head.
And apologies again, Easy Score isn't updating right now, so the score is 2-0 Heidenheim.
1-1 pitch from Michelli is outside. Well, the home run seemed to have dampened the spirits of the crowd here a little bit. The Heidenheim fans may be feeling a little bit more comfortable with the 2-0 lead, not making as much noise as just a half inning ago. And
yeah, definitely in a game where both teams haven't had too many base runners, yeah, it's a bummer to see a multi-run lead here if you're a Disciples fan, given the lack of offensive showing here today. But still plenty of chances for them. We're just going to have to hope that they come out and are able to wake up those bats a little bit, get some base runners, and anything can happen with 4 innings left in the game.
Germain has worked a full count. Now the fastball from Michelli served up and pulled foul. We saw one of those in his last at-bat.
Yep.
That's bad at-bats, didn't we?
Long foul ball down in the batting cages over there. About 30 meters foul. But a big hit.
What's the order? A burger?
the crowd. Comes right here next to the scoring booth.
A lot of action back here.
In the crowd, yeah.
A lot of action back here in the in Tim's setup. Placing orders for food and getting foul balls right onto the scorer's bench.
So we got 2 strikes here in this at bat.
Riled up the fans a little bit. Now we got the vibe going again.
Now they're woken up. People were running out of the way.
Still a full count. Jermaine pulls this one foul. Is Schmidt going to make it down in the corner?
Just a little bit too far foul. About 2 meters away from it.
Not able to chase it down. But must have gotten a good jump. That's a distance.
Schmidt does have good speed. He's a long guy, long strides, and he does have speed out there in the outfield, so he can cover a lot of ground. So the fact that he wasn't even able to get that close to it shows that it was pretty far out there.
So, full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch from Michelli. And Michelli shaking his head. He's wondering where that one missed.
Thorpe stuck that one again too, so you start to worry a little bit about when the pitcher starts shaking his head as strike calls, the catcher's holding strikes like that. That's the 3rd or 4th time that they haven't been happy with the call this game. And you see Coach Ryan Bollinger coming out of the dugout, umpires looking towards the dugout. That's not the kind of things you want to see halfway through the game, especially when it's in a situation that's not really hurting your team yet at this point.
And Goering drops a bunt down. Music with a great play. And not sure quite what happened there.
Umpire said that Wallace came off the bag on the throw there. Music had to make a tough throw coming in on the run. Played it a little low and a little off the bag. It didn't look too far out of the way. I'm not seeing any argument from the Disciples coaches, but it seems like the throw pulled Wallace off the bag there a little bit, and the umpire caught it. So we are going to have runners on 1st and 2nd here. And
Boomer's going to come out and talk with his pitcher. Probably just try to reassure him. Still have we have 2 runners on, still 0 outs. Develop some strategy for what the defense is going to do here as Thorpe and Music continue to talk to Michelli.
I am seeing a signal down to the bullpen for someone to start getting warm. Not sure who it is at this point. Don't expect him to really come in this inning because Michelli's definitely known for going deep. He's a guy who can easily throw 90 to 100 pitches, and he's not anywhere near close to his pitch limit yet at this point. So as long as the game stays close, he's probably going to stay in. But, yeah, if Heidenheim manages to put up a couple runs here, get a couple more bloopers, then the Disciples might look to make the switch. We'll see how the rest of this inning plays out.
So 2 on, nobody out for the Heideköpfe. At bat, the DH Höger, and he shows bunt early. Michelli's going to give a look at the runner at second base. Now, Höger was showing bunt even before coming set, and he shows again now as Michelli comes set. Third baseman stays back. Höger takes a strike on the outside corner.
Just as a reminder to everybody as well, the score is 2-0 Heidenheim right now. The scoreboard's not updating. It is 2-0 off that solo home run that started off this inning by Leary.
Here's the 0-1 pitch, and the runner's break. A swing from Höger. The ball going down the first baseline, and it's caught in foul territory by Nate Thomas, who hustles over. Runners have to go back. They had gotten a jump.
Yeah, Michelli with the big leg kick there, and the runners were going from the start. There was a hit and run or something on there, and yeah, the Heideköpfe just didn't execute. He popped that one up instead of putting it on the ground, and that'll be an out for the Disciples.
So the Disciples are one pitch away from getting out of this inning. If they can get a ground ball, got some options for rolling a double play.
It's a tough one, though. I mean, he definitely, that was a pitch up in the zone. Hard to get those pitches on the ground in that hit and run situation. And yeah, he popped it up. It happens. Not necessarily a bad look by the Heideköpfe here, who are looking to extend their lead.
My apologies. That was Daniel Vavrusa who popped out just now, bringing up Herger. Off-speed pitch. Third baseman is able to knock down the ground ball, and he makes an attempt to tag the runner going from second to third. And the umpire is saying that he did not tag him. And Boomer Saunders, the head coach of the Disciples, is coming out to argue how he didn't get him. I'm not sure if he's trying to make a case for missing, making the tag or running out of the baseline. The runner.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting argument here. I'm not sure, as you can see in the replay here, if I can play it again. It's not going to show that same replay again, but yeah, the runner didn't really make that much of a move to get out of the way. I mean, he kept his line, so I don't think there's really an argument for him saying that he was out of the baseline. The call has to be a missed tag. And the umpire being on that angle, that is a rough call. He's behind the play there, not on a good angle to see that tag. So the Disciples are not going to be happy about that one, and that is going to load the bases with 2 outs here for the Heideköpfe.
Yeah, that was a great play by Music to knock down.
He was confident. He still had time to like come up and probably throw to first, and he was confident that he tagged him. So yeah, he turned and made the tag and held the ball up to the umpire, and the umpire, bit of a delay on the call, and said that he missed the tag. So
the Heideköpfe have runners on every base. Bases loaded. Second baseman Monty pops one foul down the first baseline. 1-1 count. Michelli trying to work out of trouble yet again. 1 out. Bases loaded. Heideköpfe threatening. And the fastball is fouled off.
These are dangerous pitches. He's not necessarily spotting up right now. That one missed over the middle a bit and a bit up. That was a belt-high fastball right down the middle, and he just a little bit late on it. Maybe expecting that breaking ball again.
Ball's fouled down the right into right field. Sorry, soft blind drive down first baseline was tough to see. Wasn't sure whether that ball was going into the dugout.
Crowd's going here as we have a big situation for both teams. Heideköpfe want to put up a few runs. Disciples need 1 more out to get out of this inning.
And the 1-2 pitch, Michelli will step off.
So this is the type of situation that can definitely change the whole flow of the game. If Heideköpfe put up a couple runs here, that puts them in a big situation.
And
ball's hit to center field, deep out to Rosenthal. He falls down to his knees.
He makes the catch. The runners at second and third both tag and move up. So the run, Germain scores from third. And behind him, Göring takes advantage of Rosenthal losing the ball in the sun for a moment. It looked like a difficult play for Rosenthal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that run was always going to score from third on that hit. It was so deep. Rosenthal was running back the whole time. Even though he fell, he made the catch. And even if he hadn't, that run was still going to tag up easily and score. So overall, good play from Rosenthal out there.
Important to get the out.
Not losing too much.
So 2 outs. Runners at first and third now for the Heideköpfe. Michelli, first pitch high, ball 1. We do have a late start for the game this evening. Fairly atypical for the Disciples. The Disciples have lights, but to say that they're regulation would be a stretch. They are not particularly high or bright.
Might as well just have all the fans
Hold up their
cell
phones.
phones. Luckily enough, in Germany this type of year, for those who aren't watching from Germany, the sun does stay up pretty long, so even though it's already 6:45 in the afternoon, we still easily have a couple hours of good sun here.
Anyone that has stood out in right field or center field in the evening of this field knows how bad the sun gets.
Yep. Second baseman, first baseman, and right field are going through it right now.
And the runner from first base breaks the second. And Will Thorpe, the catcher, gives a look to third first before throwing down to second, making sure that there wasn't some kind of play on. And they'll concede the stolen base, putting runners at second and third now. The pitch was a ball, so we have a 2-0 count.
And the score is 3-0 now for the Heideköpfe off a sac fly to center field.
An off-speed pitch from Michelli drops in for a strike. Two outs. Michelli trying to escape any further damage. And another foul ball.
Straight back into the net.
And we'll have a full count now.
Runner on third playing some mind games with Michelli, trying to run out there, getting his peripheral, see if he can make a mistake, walk his batter here.
And then here's the pitch from Michelli, off speed, inside, and he rings up the batter for the third out.
So, yeah, good battle there from Michelli. A couple unfortunate events there. That play at third that
Big
the
sigh of
Disciples
relief.
weren't happy about, a strikeout that they wanted that wasn't called. And they get out of it, minimizing the damage to 2 runs that inning, right? They got 2 runs. They started the inning off with a solo home run and then a sac fly to center field to bring in a second one. So it is now 3-0 for the Heidenheim Heideköpfe. And we will be going into the bottom of the 5th here. And this broadcast is brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu.
Disciples, bottom half of the 5th inning here. Lead off. Number 9 hitter, David Wallace. Takes a first pitch strike.
How's Wallace hitting this season?
Rather not say.
Okay. He's a guy that can surprise you with his pop, though. Every now and then he'll come out and he can put a ball over the fence here. It's a tougher day, of course, with the wind blowing in from left field, so as a right-hander, it's a bit tougher to hit that ball out. But we have already seen one today from Leary, even though he hit it out to the left, or to right field.
And Wallace with some big moments last year in some critical games. It may have actually been against.
Yeah, he's had some definitely critical moments for the team, and he's always been there fighting through last season, especially an injury in the shoulder for a while now.
There was a game last year where Wallace came up with runners in scoring position, trailing by a couple runs, and drove an extra base hit to right field, clearing the bases that gave the Disciples a big win down the home stretch late in the season. You could use that type of swing right now. He'll get rung up on a pitch inside.
You can see the Disciples getting a little bit chippy here with the umpire. That's not what you want to see from your team, especially when you're down. That sends a bad precedent into your dugout. But they have not been happy with the behind-the-plate umpire's performance today when they've been on defense, and now you are starting to see it leak into their offense as well. So they're going to have to come over, do some mental gymnastics to overcome whatever's happening for them right now to try and make something happen here.
Will Thorpe takes the first pitch high. Sven Schuler giving these hitters a steady diet of fastballs.
Yeah, if you're a pitcher and you're confident with your fastball and the other team's not hitting it, why throw anything else?
1-1 the count to Thorpe.
The score is 3-0 here, bottom of the 5th inning. Sorry, our easy score isn't updating at the moment. Hopefully it pops through. Could come through at any moment. Just don't know.
The Disciples with just one hit off Sven Schuler so far in this game. They've found other ways on base so far, a couple walks.
And he hasn't been overpowering to them today. I mean, they've been putting balls in play. There hasn't been too many strikeouts by them. Just hitting balls at guys, not making great contact. A lot of soft balls right at guys, and the Heideköpfe defense has not been one to make mistakes today, so got a pop fly here in the infield. Looks like the shortstop is going to pick it up for an easy out. So Thorpe retired on a fly ball, and that'll be 2 outs for the Disciples here in the bottom of the 5th.
For everyone that's trying to keep up to date with Easy Score, seems to be having some problems on the website as well. If you go to refresh, it'll flash 3-0, the score. Heidenheim leading here. And then some bug kicks the score to 1-0. As music grounds to first base, first baseman flips to the pitcher, and we've got a quick 1-2-3 inning from the Disciples.
Yeah, check swing there from Patrick Music. Hits it right to the first baseman for an easy 3rd out. And we will go to the top of the 6th here. So this is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. We are on the top of the 6th. Scores 3-0 Heidenheim.
And we've got a new pitcher on the bump for the Disciples. The righty is Jan Endreat. So Nick Michelli
Gave him a solid 5 innings. A couple unfortunate mistakes there on the Disciples side, and a couple good hitting moments by the Heideköpfe. Have given them 3 runs in that time, which isn't insurmountable by any means to the Disciples, but it's going to be up to Jan here to limit what they can do offensively, and the Disciples' bats need to find some energy, get some hits in there.
We'll talk more about Michelli's line later. Endreat gets ahead. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the hitter.
Jan's been a consistent for the Disciples for a while now. From the bullpen, always comes in with relatively good stuff.
Yeah, you can say that again. Not necessarily homegrown, but a local product. Jan Endreat started with the Schweig Red Lions.
And was it last year or 2 years ago, he was also battling injuries in his back as well. But a good breaking ball strikeout here for him to start the inning. And that is something we haven't seen much of today. Strikeouts for the Heideköpfe. Might be the first one today, first or second.
Definitely count them on one hand at best.
And so for Jan coming in and getting a strikeout, that is a great start for him. And that'll give the Disciples 1 out here in the top of the 6th.
Jan has had some control issues to start this season. He's thrown 8 2/3 innings, allowed 7 walks, but just a 2.08 ERA so far.
Nice. Yeah, and I can imagine at the beginning of the season he might have come in a little cold, considering he is a father at this point to a very young child. I'm not going to speculate on the age, I'm bad, but yeah, so he's been busy.
I believe his kid's approaching their first birthday. I think it was last summer.
Yeah,
in the
nice.
middle of
So
the season.
having little ones running around isn't exactly conducive to putting up good numbers on the baseball field.
Well, he's got power hitter Gary Owens in a 0-2 count. And he buries the off-speed pitch in front of the plate here. 1-2. Now, the hitters are going to have to contend with some shadows. We talked about the late start here in Haar. Gary Owens slaps the ball to center field, and speedy center fielder Joe Rosenthal chases it down. That ball was on a line. I don't think it got any higher than the outfield fence.
Yeah, and that ball got out there pretty quickly. And as you can see from the time that I was able to switch it over to the wide view, Joe Rosenthal had probably covered about 30 meters out there. He has got some serious speed, and he showed it off right there for the second out.
Great play by Rosenthal. Helps Jan Endreat get the first out. Sorry, the second out. Trying to wrap up a quick inning. And Sean Larry, in his last at-bat, drove that ball about 400 feet to right field into the trees.
Yeah, that was an absolute shot. And that wasn't a high ball either. It got just over the fence, and if that tree wasn't over there, it probably would have hit that building. But catches him with a breaking ball. Way out of time there.
Larry just a half-hearted wave at that off-speed pitch outside. It was on his front foot.
Jan does have an excellent slider, and so far in the first 2 batters, we've seen guys not really coming close to it. We'll see if they pick up on it later on, and if he can spot up his fastball to complement it. High ball deep into right center field. Rosenthal running back. That wind is going to keep it in. He finds it, and that will be an easy fly ball for Rosenthal out there for out number 3. Yeah, that's a great inning for the Disciples coming off, yeah, a couple bad innings there, or at least one bad inning and some tough plays. So this is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu, and we'll be going into the bottom of the 6th here. 3-0 Heidenheim.
Welcome back to Haar in the bottom of the 6th inning. Nate Thomas stepping in, taking a ball on the outside part of the plate.
Yeah, Shula's still in there here in the bottom of the 6th. I'd love to see his pitch count at this point, but he has been working the Disciples left and right.
Nate dribbles one to the second baseman, and the second baseman boots it. Nate is turning and looking for second base, and he's going to get in there underneath the tag. The second baseman kicked the ball.
Excellent read by the veterans for the Disciples there, seeing that mistake. It seems like the second baseman, booted up into the air, and he didn't really know where it went, so he was turning around, and Nate was running hard the whole way and didn't hesitate, and comes up with a 2-base error there.
Good start for the Disciples. That's the base runner that you want.
Yeah, he's got speed on the bases, so a single in the outfield scores a run, and after a quick inning from your new pitcher, coming off of a really good inning from Jan Andrea, that is exactly what you want to see here if you are the Haar Disciples. This gives them a chance to get their first run on the board with no outs. Cal Murphy coming up. We'll see if they can make it happen. But as I was mentioning before, Shula just been having a great game so far.
Yeah, he will be the pitcher of record. Hopefully the Disciples are able to challenge the 3-0 lead for the Heideköpfe at the moment. Schuler's 3-1 on the year. ERA a little bit inflated. 4.56. He had a bad start last week. He was chased early in one of the losses to Mainz.
Were they at Mainz? Ooh.
They played home and away in the 4-game series.
And there's another one from the Haar Disciples there. That ball missed pretty far inside, and if you're a scrappy team, you should probably be looking to wear that one to get a free base, and he chose to get out of the way. So hopefully
especially
he does
in a close
something.
game.
Yeah. Hopefully he does something here with it.
Schuler comes back with a fastball on the outside corner, 2-1. Nate getting his lead off second. Fastball up and in. Murphy takes another one.
And Schüler's got a little velo on him. Definitely not overpowering for guys in the first Bundesliga. He's probably throwing like mid to upper 80s consistently. But a little pain goes a long ways in a close game like this. So Cal Murphy looking to make something happen here.
And the pitch from Schüler is down.
And okay,
And
so he
he'll
made
run a
up
walk.
for it. Made up for it.
So the Disciples have runners on first and second with nobody out. Nate Thomas on second base, good speed. And Cal Murphy now at first base after drawing the walk. Brings up Joe Rosenthal, cleanup hitter for the Disciples. Now, with this no-out situation, as Heideköpfe manager Klaus Eckle out to talk to Schüler, the Disciples might be looking to put the runners in motion, might be looking to move the runners. There's a lot that they can do in this situation. Eckle making his way back to the Heideköpfe dugout, giving some last commands to his infield about the approach, drawing the infield in, considering the bunt.
And I'll be interested to see what if the Disciples put on a play here. It's not something you see them do too often.
So third baseman Bill Germain is in around the cut at third base, expecting some action
Bunt
in his
maybe
way.
coming here. Yep, there it is.
The
Sack
runners
bunt.
take off. The bunt is foul down the third base line. And Joe's shaking his head.
Yeah, he gave him the pitch too. It's not like that was a hard pitch to bunt. It's not like it was a curveball. He gave him the fastball right over the plate. It was going to be a strike, and he bunted it a little bit foul. And in this situation, with a speedy runner on second especially, and you got some speed yourself, you just need to get that down and get your guy to third base. That's what they really want to do here and get rid of this double play opportunity for the Heideköpfe.
And the
Ball's
next pitch
down
gets
and a
away
pass
from
ball.
the catcher. Vavrusa unable to get a handle of that fastball outside. And Rosenthal had squared to bunt again, but the pitch was so far outside, he pulled back, and the runners will advance on a pass ball, I would imagine. That will be scored. So the Disciples now with two runners in scoring position.
Yeah, that's huge for the Disciples there after he didn't get that first one down, and then to have Rosenthal in an opportunity to swing the bat now. He has actually made decent contact on a couple balls today. They've just been hit right at guys in the outfield, and we're going to see if he can find it. If he can do that same thing again, that'll score a run. So
Heideköpfe give the Disciples the action that they actually wanted.
infield's in here.
And another one gets away from the catcher. Vavrusa unable to catch the ball. He had two pitches clank off his glove and go to the backstop, and that's going to push a run across for the Disciples. They are on the board with the first run, making it 3-1. I'll remind you there are still 0 outs, and Murphy moves up to third base. So we have a 3-1 ball game.
Very big for the Disciples there to have this situation with no outs. But yeah, just to put a little insight there, at least from the catcher's perspective, that was a little tough one because that pitch was high and tight into Rosenthal. He turned into it. I almost thought that pitch hit him.
Yeah.
And I think that played a little bit into the catcher's mentality there. He's really battling him in right now. He's banging him inside.
Trying to induce a ground ball.
Yeah, you're wondering what the scorecard says on Rosenthal here if he's not able to turn on balls. Infield still in here, so they are looking to make this play at home to stop this run from scoring since it is 3-1. Ball, foul ball.
And Rosenthal pounds it into his foot, taking a deep breath.
Bit of a break there for Rosenthal. If he had called that ball fair, that would have been an easy out at first, and the runner would have stayed there at third base. So Rosenthal needs to put something in the outfield here if he wants to get this run in.
2-2 the count. Schüler comes set and delivers, and it hits him.
That one will get him. Yeah, that one was obvious. So
So Rosenthal drives one across with the pass balls, and then finds his way on base.
Interesting about there. You get a failed sack bunt, you get a pass ball to move the run over, a pass ball to get an RBI, and then get hit by a pitch. So still no outs here. We're going to get a mound visit for the Heideköpfe here. Looks like they have a guy coming in from the bullpen. So you had 5 scoreless innings from Schule. Pretty good effort out there. You had him going, and
that run is no fault of his own.
No, not at all. That's unfortunate when you're trying to go deep into a game and something like that happens. Yeah, we'll see who they bring in here. Did you catch his number?
I did not.
Yeah, we'll let him warm up.
But
and
judging by the height, I would imagine that it's Mike Bolsenbroek, the Dutch right-hander, towering over his teammates on the mound.
But yeah, so we'll let him warm up. We'll keep the stream on, and this broadcast is brought to you by Brouwerij Wildbrooi.
First pitch from Bolsenbroek to Bickle, a ball low.
So Bolsenbroek looking to come in here and shut the Disciples down with runners on first and third. Nobody out.
Still 0 outs. Bickle just needs to put the ball in the outfield here. Even a ground ball probably scores a run. And Rosenthal breaks from first. The throw goes to the pitcher. So Rosenthal with the stolen base. And the catcher, Vavrusa, shaking his hand. Not sure what happened on that play.
Yeah, and since easy score doesn't seem to be working today, I'm going to move it over to a manual scoreboard, and I'm going to try and keep this updated as we go.
We are now a two-man show here up in the booth. We are in the bottom of the seventh. Bottom of the sixth, correct. Bottom of the sixth. So the Heideköpfe have the infield in with runners at first and second and third. The ground ball to the third baseman is bobbled by Germain. He's still able to get the throw over to first base in time, but the Disciples drive home a run on the sacrifice. Cal Murphy scoring from third base. And Bickle picks up an RBI.
That's a good at-bat from Bickle, falling behind a little bit there and then being able to make it happen. That's what you got to see from your team in that situation. Not striking out, not popping up. He put that ball on the ground. He did a job.
And decent contact.
Yeah.
And it was a good play by the third baseman, being drawn in to be able to get over there and get a glove on the ball and keep it from going into the outfield. It could have just as easily been 2 runs.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Fastball from Wilsenberg for strike 1 to Simon Lechner, second baseman. So we have 1 out. Joe Rosenthal still at second base on that play. Pitch away, 1-1. And the Disciples have life.
Yeah, just like that, a couple batters come up, things happen, guys make moves, and the Disciples make it a 1-run game. Hear the crowd waking up a little bit now.
Big swing from Simon Lechner, fouls it for a 1-2 count. Simon trying to tie the game with 1 swing right here. There is just 1 out. Base hit with a speedy Rosenthal on second base. And there's a line drive down the first baseline. It's fair. And they're going to send Rosenthal. It's going to tie the game.
Rosenthal makes it easily. Simon, he's going to go for 3. That thing had some spin on it.
And Simon safe at third base.
Massive hit from Simon Lechner, the veteran here at the Haar Disciples. That ball curled it right over the first baseman. And you can't see it on the camera, but in right field, down in the corner here, it actually slopes away about 5-10 meters into the corner, and that ball just curled slowly all the way in there. The right fielder had to run a long ways to get to it. Simon with a big hit and a good jump there ties the game up for the Haar Disciples.
RBI triple.
And the Disciples are feeling it now. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Runner on third.
And the ballpark is buzzing. What a great energy that brought back into the stadium. Left fielder Nils Schmidt now up to bat. Swings through the first pitch. No balls, 1 strike. Because there's just still 1 out. Heideköpfe have the infield drawn in, trying to keep Simon Lechner at third base. They do not want to give up that go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Now with just 1 out, Schmidt trying to get the ball in the outfield.
Good stop there by the catcher.
He would be fine with a sac fly in this situation to give them the lead.
And he's a guy with that, he's got that launch angle for those fly balls too. So if he makes contact here and sends that ball deep into the outfield, that's another run that can give the Disciples a lead here.
The pitch from Bolsenbrock, a fastball on the outside corner, called strike 3.
And in a situation like that, that's not what you want to see from your guys. You got to be trying to put that ball in play there with 2 strikes, especially with the runner on third base, 1 out. Send it somewhere.
Yeah, we've seen what the team can do. Just 1 batter earlier, Simon Lechner battling, able to wrap 1 inside the first baseline for that RBI triple that tied the game for the Disciples. Now 2 outs. David Wallace up to bat, also swings through the first pitch fastball that he sees.
Bolsenbrook showing his veteran status here. Even though he's given up a couple runs, he's still challenging these guys with fastballs over the plate early in the count. That ball's fouled back into the net for strike 2 on Wallace.
So with 2 outs, Disciples have their number 9 hitter up and a runner at third base. And the fastball dribbled down the third baseline, foul. Jermaine pulls it in, flips it back to his pitcher. And we have an 0-2 count with 2 outs.
Camera keeps flashing.
Bolsenbroek steps off, steps back on. The big Dutch righty comes set and delivers a slider that's in the dirt, swung over by Wallace. Catcher Vavrusa is able to keep it in front, toss it down to first base for the third out.
But even then, a bit of a bummer there at the end of the inning, but the Haar Disciples are able to put 3 on the board and make this a tie game. So, yeah, this is Haar Disciples baseball coming to you at going to be the top of the 7th, and this is brought to you by Brouwerij Wildbrooi.
It is a 3-3 ball game here in the top of the 7th in Ballpark Eggefing in Haar. Thank you for tuning in. And as you can hear, the Disciples' activity at bat has brought the energy back. With the Heideköpfe now at bat, we hear their fans representing. First pitch from Jan Enderjak, a curveball down the middle that Jermaine takes for a strike.
Heidenheim here with the megaphone in the stands, playing their own rally music here a little bit. Ball fouled straight back.
And we had talked earlier a couple times in this game about the late start and the impact that that's going to have on the shadow, the lights, having to deal with the sun, the long shadows of the players right now.
Yeah, and it's going to be there the rest of the game. Yeah, that sun doesn't completely disappear until around 9 o'clock, so the right side is going to have a tough time all the way until the end of the 9th inning here.
And that pitch to Jermaine, driven to center field. Joe Rosenthal chases it down on the warning track. Deep fly ball from the Heideköpfe cleanup hitter. Just not far enough out of the reach of the speedy center fielder Rosenthal. So we've got 1 out. And there's a big shadow across home plate, and it didn't seem to be an issue for the Disciples hitters in their bottom half of the inning.
It's one of those shadows that it is so close to the hitter at this point. I don't think it makes too big a difference, because by the time the ball's you know, within 3 meters of the plate, like where the shadow starts right now, your swing has already started at that point. So
likely to pick up the spin of the ball before that point.
Yeah.
First pitch from NJ out of ball. And Simon Göring takes an off-speed pitch for strike one. Simon Göring in his 21st season in the Bundesliga. Off-speed pitch, hard ground ball to the shortstop. Unable to come up with it cleanly. And his throw is late to first base. And the Heideköpfe have a runner on here with one out in the top of the seventh.
Yeah, not what you want to see as the Haar Disciples coming in after a big inning like that. And you can see Cal Murphy hanging his head over there, knows he should have made that play. But yeah, Jan had a really good inning in his last outing, so we're going to see if he can get the next 3 guys out. They still have a chance for a 2-ball here for a double play. And then they can hopefully get back in with this energy and carry over some runs into the next at-bats they get.
Daniel Verrusa now at bat for the Heideköpfe. Jan Andriat drops a curveball in for strike one. The Heideköpfe have possibly 2 of the most accomplished catchers in European baseball batting back-to-back in their lineup. Simon Göring, longtime captain of the German national team, had his stint with the Brewers in the minors before returning to Germany. As mentioned, a 21-year career, all with the Heideköpfe. And batting right behind him, former minor leaguer Daniel Verrusa.
21 years, a long time. It is a long time in any sport. I mean, what, 21 years ago, I was chilling out in like 2nd grade or something.
And when you look at his numbers, they're just video game numbers as we get another grounder to the shortstop. And again, Cal Murphy having a tough time getting a handle on it.
That was going to be a tough play no matter what. I mean, that was a slow bouncing ball. Jan Andrea was not really able to get his glove on it as it went to the opposite side of the mound from where he was falling over during the pitch. And it took a bounce actually off the mound that probably actually made it a little bit easier for Cal to get there, but still Cal had to run a long way in there. Even if he had fielded it cleanly, it would have been a tough throw to make. So we now have runners on first and second. Nobody out here in the top of the 7th.
Ryan Bollinger, the pitching coach for the Disciples, out to reassure little righty Andriat after getting 2 ground balls. I mean, typically we've been giving Murphy appropriate recognition for the defense that he's played for the team this far, and so for him to have back-to-back
that's
plays.
uncharacteristic of him for sure. So you hope that doesn't diminish what just happened in the last offensive inning for the Disciples. You still want them to keep their heads up, be ready to fight here.
As Andriat takes a peek towards second base, keeping the runners close. We've got 1 out.
Heidenheim looking to capitalize on a couple mistakes from the Disciples here. And the Disciples trying to minimize the damage done by the said mistakes.
Pilger up to bat now. Foul ball. Straight back. Thorpe gets another ball from the umpire, flips it back to Andriat. 0-1 count. To continue the notes on Simon Göring's illustrious career, he is a .389 hitter in his 21 seasons in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, that's actually pretty amazing. Just to play so long, so consistently. Has he been with Heidenheim the whole time?
His entire career. We get a line drive to center. Joe Rosenthal catches. He fires to third base a strike, and they are not going to test his arm. Simon Göring's going to stay at second base. And we have 2 outs. Line drive was well hit, but Rosenthal, no trouble with the sun in this instance. Ranges slightly to his left to make that play. Comes up firing. Great throw to third base, making sure that the runners don't advance.
Yeah, wind's coming in a little bit stronger here. Not much, but it could be a bit stronger the higher up you go. So I think as this evening goes on, pretty standard here in Munich, it might get a little bit more windy and balls hitting the air aren't going to travel as far.
We'll see what that does to the outfielders. They're already battling
the
sun on the right half of the field. Woolthorpe blocks the first pitch from Endriat. The ball in the dirt, keeps the runners at first and second, again with 2 outs. There's the pitch from Endriat. Fouled back. One and one count to the second baseman, Monty. Endriat already got his 3 outs. Defense hasn't helped him out.
Yeah, you hate to see it,
4 outs
but
even.
no damage has been done as of yet. We'll see if they're able to shut down the mistakes that got these runners on base here.
An off-speed pitch from Endriat called high.
And one thing that's tough is he came in that last inning and he was super hot. You could tell he was ready to go. He was warm. And then he almost got iced a little bit as his team was able to come in and put 3 runs on the board, a little bit of a longer inning for them. And like he still has come out and filled up the zone and got solid, got solid looks at these hitters and has made them make bad contact. But you wonder if it affects him physically or mentally at all now that he was got a little bit colder out there.
Yeah, especially as the inning drags on unnecessarily long. Probably wondering how many more curveballs he's going to have to drop in there to induce another ground ball to get out of the inning. Deuces. Pitch from Endriat, swung through for strike 3. Disciples get out of the jam. Endriat doing it himself.
Yeah, that's huge for them right there. For Jan and for the defense especially, you talk about teammates picking each other up, and that was him picking up his teammates after they didn't really help him out. So him stepping up and taking it for himself there is massive. And so thanks for tuning in. This is Haar Disciples Baseball brought to you by Brauerei Wilproy.
Here we go. Will Thorpe is 1 for 3 on the day. One of the 2 Disciples hits. The second hit was a game-tying triple from second baseman. The bunt from Will Thorpe goes foul.
Yeah, Will Thorpe coming out here trying to make something happen in the bottom of the 7th. Let me change that real quick. Not the speediest guy in the world, but maybe he got a look on the third baseman, caught him playing a little bit far back, and
try to catch him flat-footed.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't look like he's playing far back, at least not now. But that was a good bunt right down the line, just went foul. And that's what you like to see if you are trying to bunt for a hit. You call it. It's either got to be a base hit or a foul ball when you're trying to make that bunt. So should be seeing Thorpe swing here. Because you know Bolzenbrook's going to give him pitches in the zone.
Easy pop-up to the shortstop from Will Thorpe. Shorts makes the play.
Yeah, Bolzenbrook with a fastball. Maybe a little bit up and in, and catches Thorpe on the hands, and that one barely makes it out of the infield grass for an easy first out.
Be curious to know, all the followers in the chat, who watched the World Baseball Classic this spring, if they know how Bolzenbrook did. The check swing from
he hit a check swing
Pat
ground ball
Music
last at bat too.
goes between the legs of the pitcher. Bolzenbrook's ears were probably burning from us talking about him up here in the booth. Distracts him and lets one go through the wickets. And that's I'm not sure whether they'll call that an infield single or an error, but it's hard to say. He may not have gotten a glove on it. Maybe he's having a tough time with the sun tonight. That could be a problem too. So the Disciples have runner at first base and Pat Music on the air. It looks like they've been charged. They've charged Bolzenbrook with an error on that play. Runner at first base, 1 out. Nate Sean Thomas now up for the Disciples. Bolzenbrook checks on Music at first. Throw over. Not his best move.
Just wants to keep him honest because we've mentioned it a couple times this game, but Music does have some speed on him. So he could be looking to take second base here.
And he does take a jump. Nate fouls it back.
Bit of a miscommunication between hitter and runner there, but Nate Sean is hitting from the left side right now, so it is hard for him to see that runner going at first base. Normally, you would expect the hitter to take that pitch when his runner gets a good jump like that and let him steal. Yeah, he took a swing at that, unfortunately fouled it off, and Music gets sent back to first base.
Bolzenbrook with the pitch, fastball will right at the knees, strikes out Nate Sean Thomas.
Not sure if he was looking for a breaking pitch or something there, but that
froze him.
That ball, yeah, fastball in a 2-strike count shouldn't freeze you, but it did. So that'll be another out here for Heidenheim. Still a runner on first. Tie ball game.
Next batter for the Disciples is cleanup hitter and shortstop Cal Murphy, and he sees an off-speed pitch from Bolzenbrook to start the at-bat. In for a strike. Bolzenbrook, even though he is a native of the Netherlands, he is well known in the Bundesliga. I'm not even sure how long he's been around, but with the Heideköpfe, he's put up 35 wins, just 8 losses. This season, he's 3-0 with 2 saves. Foul ball back on the first base line from Cal Murphy.
I know I faced Bolzenbrook a couple times when I was playing over here, and he's just a solid pitcher. You're not going to see him come out and walk a lot of guys. He's going to fill up the zone. He's going to hit his spots, and he's going to make you beat him. He's that kind of pitcher. He's definitely going to make you beat him. He's not going to give you anything for free.
The pitch up from Bolzenbrook. He doesn't really care what role you put him in. He's worked out of the pen much more this year, perhaps because of the role that he assumed with the Dutch national team during their World Baseball Classic. In the past, he's been the most reliable starter in the Bundesliga. I don't think it's any exaggeration. As we see off-speed down from Bolsenbroek, 2-2 count.
You know, we've talked about it multiple times this game, whether it be the catchers or the pitchers or the hitters on this team, but their whole lineup is just full of veterans, and you see it in the way they play the game. It's a tie game here, and they don't look like they're under pressure at all. They're just playing the same game they've been playing the whole time, keeping it like nice, mellow energy all the way throughout, not getting too down, not getting too high, and they're just in it all the time.
Goes to the same pitch that he struck out Nate-Sean Thomas with just a moment ago. 3 outs for the Disciples. They strand a runner at first base. We'll be right back.
It's brought to you by Brouwerij Wildprooi.
We're back here in the top half of the 8th inning. Tie ball game in Haar, 3-3. And we've got a new pitcher for the Disciples, lefty Sean Cohen. Starts things off with a ball low. Cohen has pitched 7 1/3 innings this year, rocking a 4.9 ERA. As we see another ball low.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him, and I've heard Tim Collins actually talk about it before too. He's sneaky fast for a little guy. You know, he's got some velo. His slider's got some hard break to it. He can definitely make guys swing and miss with the stuff he's got, but does have control problems sometimes. So we'll see how he performs today, and whether or not he's able to get everything under control.
3-0 count here. Ball 4.
Not a great start.
Hall, number 9 batter, takes a 4-pitch walk. And the Heideköpfe will have their first guy on base. And they flip the lineup over to the top. Philipp Scholz. Scholz 1 for 4 today.
So for the Disciples, honestly, what you'd like to see here is a nice ground ball over to Cal Murphy, who made a couple errors last inning. Turn a double play, pick his head up a little bit, and bring the team back in with a nice 2 outs. But
would love to see that.
No double plays turned this game so far. Even though there have been quite a few situations with runners on first so far, whether it be from walks or hits.
Cohen flips over to first base, checking the runner.
dangerous little miss with that pickoff there. He didn't put much velo on it. Bounced it about a meter short of the first baseman, David Wallace, who had to block it.
He's probably trying to keep from throwing it past him with the first baseman struggling with the sun, but instead he bounces it.
Thorpe checking on the runner, so everybody seems to be, runners putting him on edge a little bit here. They seem to be ready for him to make a move towards second base here, so we'll see if he's going to go next time he gets the opportunity.
Nobody out, runner at first base. The batter is showing bunt. He will pull back as the ball was up and in. That was close. He was right out in the middle of the plate anticipating a ball that he could bunt. Try to move the runner to get him into scoring position.
As you can see, it's not just the Disciples, though, because that's a nice soft breaking pitch right there. You could turn into that one with the bunt already out there. There he goes.
And with the ground ball back to the pitcher, they're going to go to the easy play at first. The runner broke. It looked like a straight steal. Ball goes to the pitcher, flips to first base for the first out. Runner moves up to second base. So Holl, the runner at 2. Schultz gets the fielder's choice. Sean Cohen, he knew the runner was going. His only play is the first base there.
Yeah, well, if you're Heidenheim there, you're pretty lucky on that after not moving all those pitches and then making that exact pitch to steal and getting that nice ground ball right back to the pitcher. That very easily could have turned into a double play for them, but since he stole, wasn't able to make the play at second, just got the one. So, yeah, as Ty, you mentioned, now we got a runner in scoring position, 1 out here, top of the 8th.
Probably the batter that you least want to see. Bollinger makes a trip out to talk to Cohen. And who do we have up to bat? Oh, they're going to walk Gary. They're going to walk Gary Owens. They're just going to give him an automatic pass to first base.
So that opens up the double play opportunity again for the Disciples here with 1 out. Runners on first and second. So if they can get another ground ball just like that last one, you wonder at this point in the lineup, are they going to go for hits or are they going to put another play on? I think they're going to swing away here. I don't think there's any, yeah.
Sean Larry has a home run today, a solo shot in the 5th inning. Led off the inning with a hard hit ball into right field over the Vidbroy sign.
But this is a favorable matchup and for Sean, since it's lefty on lefty. He's able to get that breaking pitch over there for a strike. Bit of a hanger, but it's not really a pitch that you're going to turn on since he caught the outside corner with that one. Yeah, big situation here for Heidenheim now. Definitely a chance to pick up a couple runs this inning. With the pitch.
And Larry drives one out to left field. Left fielder.
No tag from the base runners. Schmidt's able to get over there into left center and make that grab fairly easily. And there's that lefty on lefty matchup. You see that was a breaking pitch to Leary there. Sean hit a good spot there, sending it over to the outside corner. And Leary just had to sit back on it, and he tried to drive it the other way, just didn't quite get all of it, and hit it a little bit soft, and able to make a nice play on that one there. So
two outs now.
Yeah, two
That's
down.
2 outs. Runner still at first and second for the Heideköpfe. Cleanup hitter Bill Germain. Germain hitting .314 for the team this year, 2 home runs. He sees a first pitch strike from the lefty Cohen.
It's a little bit out of camera, but Simon Lechner from second base making some moves at the runner on second base there. He's looking at him, waiting to see if he gets a little bit too big of a lead. Backs off now.
Pitch outside from Cohen. 1-1. What an exciting game. Top of the 8th, tied
Yeah.
3-3.
Beautiful day for baseball. Both teams came out to play today. Nothing better you could ask for here.
Corn leaves that one outside again. Catcher Thorpe needing to slide over to catch it. The Heideköpfe had been in first place in the Bundesliga Süd the whole season until dropping 1 of 2 against Mainz last weekend, falling a half game behind Regensburg as the ball's dribbled down the third baseline. Patrick Music sprinting in to touch it in foul territory.
Yep. Good play there by him. The grass on both sides of the lines has a little bit of a lip in it, and it easily could have bounced and hit the lip and bounced back foul there. So Patrick Music sprinting in to make sure he gets that ball in foul territory and make sure that nothing goofy happens here in the top of the 8th.
Yeah, anything can happen when kind of doink a ball right out in front of the plate and you don't know which lip of the grass it's going to kick off of last and which direction it's going to go.
Yeah, and when you're not ready for it, that's when those things always happen. So he made a heads-up play there.
Ground ball to shortstop, and the Disciples get out of the inning. No further damage, or no runs.
Yeah, no
Stranded
runs,
2.
held him. A little sketchy start there from Sean, but he was able to make some soft contact on some balls. Defense made some plays, and that keeps the score at 3-3 going into the bottom of the 8th here at Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu.
First pitch to Joe Rosenthal here in the bottom of the 8th inning is a ball. Rosenthal 0 for 2 today. Still managed to pick up a stolen base. Last year stole 13 for the Disciples. Swings, fouls one into the catcher's mitt there. 1-1 now the count. 13 stolen bases last year. The league is full of good catchers. And he has speed, and he drives one out into left field. Center fielder ranging over, right field comes over to make the catch. Battling the sun, right fielder Sean Larry. That's a big out. You don't want to let the leadoff get on base. on a fly ball, you lose in the sun.
Yeah,
Bottom of the
definitely.
Nummer 2 am Start und am Schlag, der Lukas. Lukas.
But we've got a game on our hands, folks. 3-3, bottom of the 8th. Not many chances left for either team. So if the Disciples are able to put something up on the board here, that puts a lot of pressure on Heidenheim coming into the 9th inning. So Haar needs to make something happen here.
DH Lucas Pickle swings at the first pitch he sees, and
Almost a little bit of a miscommunication out there in right field as the shortstop's running, or the second baseman's running in, and the right fielder's running in as well, and they almost have a little collision, but the ball is caught, and that is out number 2. So
2 quick outs for the Disciples.
Bolzenbrook making quick work of the Disciples right now. And we'll see if Simon Lechner, who had an absolutely massive at-bat for the Disciples last time, can get something started here again.
Yeah, he landed that RBI triple down the first baseline, rolled all the way to the corner, and he legged it out. Pitch 1 from Bolzenbrook, a ball. And another pitch outside, 2-0 the count to Lechner now.
And Bolzenbrook's giving the Disciples plenty of fastballs right now. Filling up, well, maybe not necessarily filling up the zone. That one looked pretty close, but
3-0 the count to Lechner. Trying to extend the inning. That would be big. Give Sean a little bit longer.
okay, and Simon Lechner with a walk to start something up. See if the Disciples are able to rally with 2 outs.
That is Lechner's 16th walk this season.
Yeah, he's got a great eye. Not the most aggressive hitter in the world by any stretch of the means, but he is definitely one that is willing to go deep in the count. He takes a lot of pitches that make me cringe because they're so close sometimes, but he's had a lot of experience with these umpires, and a lot of times he's able to really get a lot of balls that I wouldn't expect him to get.
2 outs, 0-1 count to the right fielder, Schmidt. Yeah, with Lechner at first base, he's 2 for 2 stolen bases this season.
Not a ton of speed there. That ball's popped up, and that's going to be out of play over the first base side dugout. Yeah, it seems like to Lechner, Bolzenbrook was just missing up a little bit, but it seems like he's dialed it back in here to Neil Schmidt.
Schmidt over 3 with 2 strikeouts today, facing an 0-2 count now with 2 outs. The pitch inside, 1-2 now. Bolzenbrook thought it was a little bit closer than that. Schmidt flies this one straight up. Second baseman comes in and makes the catch on one of those long shadows for the 3rd out in the bottom of the 8th. So we will go to the top of the 9th. The score is still 3-3. We'll be right back.
Yep, one more inning of play here unless somebody's, yeah, well, more if nobody scores, but this broadcast is brought to you by Brouwerij Wildbrooi.
Top of the ninth, 3-3 ball game here in Haar. And a new pitcher on the mound for the Disciples. Why don't you tell them a little bit about who we got out there?
Yes, we got Lucas Steinlein out there. He is a veteran here at the Disciples, national team player. He's a closer, and he's got good stuff. Yeah, he's got good, solid breaking pitches, usually spots up. Hasn't had his best season this year. He struggled a little bit coming into close, but he battled with a minor injury for the last couple weeks, so he hasn't pitched in recent games. But he's going to come out here today to try to shut down the Heideköpfe for the Disciples and bring him back into the dugout in the ninth inning as we have a tie game here, 3-3, top of the ninth.
Umpire says Göring holds on the check swing. 2-1 count. Steinlein, definitely the most decorated pitcher in Disciples history. 31 wins, 29 saves, both leading club history in the Bundesliga. That fastball is fouled back by Göring out of play. 2-2 count. Steinlein gets a new ball, rubs it up, and asks for another one. Doesn't like that one. He'll get a new one.
Closers tend to run on a different rhythm than most pitchers. I was never a closer when I played in college or anything, but yeah, they seem to be a pretty superstitious bunch. Everything's got to be perfect. He's definitely working his own time here. He's got to be in like his comfort zone as a closer. You want to control exactly what's going on in this inning, and you can see he's trying to do just that here to the leadoff hitter.
Pitch to Göring, grounded up the middle, and what was a routine ground ball takes a funny hop, and Murphy was not prepared for it. And
yeah,
it rolls into center field for a single.
Yeah, Murphy was coming in to forehand that ball, and it took a little bit of a funky bounce, and he wasn't able to get his glove over fast enough to backhand it. That's really unfortunate for the Disciples, but opposite so if you're a Heidenheim fan. So you get a runner on first base, nobody out here in the top of the ninth.
No pinch run for Göring over at first base. Nobody out, runner first base. Lucas Steinlein looks in for the sign from catcher Will Thorpe, as his counterpart, catcher Vavrusa, squares to bunt and pushes one down the first baseline. Lucas Steinlein flips it to first base for the out. Sacrifice bunt from the catcher Daniel Vavrusa.
Yeah, so Heidenheim, as a experienced team, is going to play some small ball here. Sacrificing the bunt over, puts the run in scoring position. And now they're going to see if their hitters are able to bat this guy in to take the lead.
Vavrusa finding little ways to contribute today. Has a hit and an RBI earlier in the game. That sacrifice puts Heideköpfe, base runner, in scoring position here in the top of the ninth. So Luca Herger comes up to bat with the opportunity to give the Heideköpfe a lead. Steinlein's pitch outside, ball one.
Runner on second there's got some happy feet. I assume this guy has some speed if they're bringing him in to pinch run. So Lucas and Thorpe need to be on point here, because if they throw a ball in the dirt, he might be getting a good read and looking to move to third to give his team an even better chance of bringing this run in. Disciples' middle infield doesn't seem too concerned about him. Steinlein's not really looking back at him either.
Steinlein taking his time between pitches, rubbing up the ball, catching his breath. imagine there's a little bit of nerves. This game would mean a lot for the Disciples if they try to chase down the Stuttgart Reds for that 4th playoff spot. Slider from the pitcher Steinlein low, and it's a 3-0 count to
If you're
Herder.
the Disciples here, getting a walk, getting the runner to first base isn't the worst thing in the world if it does happen. Of course, it does put another runner on base, which gives you more opportunity to score, but it also opens up that double play ball, puts force on all the bases, allowing you to get easier outs. And yeah, they do. They go ahead and they intentionally walk them to put this runner on first base. So we got force outs at first, second, and third now. And the Disciples are hoping that Steinlein can draw another ground ball, such as the first hitter, and get that double play to shut these guys down.
So the second baseman, Montgomery, steps in. Runners at first and second with 1 out. He's 1 for 3 today, and he squares the bunt, and he drops a perfect bunt down the third baseline, and it just barely goes foul.
Patrick Music with another heads-up play there. That ball came off the bat relatively hot, and it was slowly rolling out of bounds, and It was slowly rolling foul.
Just
and,
barely.
Yeah, and he let it go and picked it up as soon as it did. So heads-up play again by Patrick Music on another bunt.
A good read to understand the angles there, that ball was going to eventually drift foul. If he had rushed in, unlikely that he's able to make a play. That bunt was great, and he was not in expecting a bunt in that situation. So 1 strike on the second baseman, Montgomery, as Steinlein comes set to deal. And the ball low.
Funny story about Patrick, though. From the horse's mouth, I heard that he received a message from Will, a DM on Instagram, asking if he wanted to come play baseball over in Germany, and he thought it was a spam message at first. Like, what? This can't be a real thing. And yet here he is, playing solid defense for the Disciples.
A swing from Montgomery on the pitch outside, fouls it back. Count goes to 1 and 2. Catcher Thorpe getting a new ball for Steinlein.
If you're Steinlein here, you're definitely looking to take this one yourself if you can. If you can get a nice swing and a miss or freeze him for a strike 3 here, that's everything you want. Yeah, if you can just take the bat out of the hitter's hands by striking him out, that opens up a lot of opportunities for your defense.
That would be big. And an
there it is.
off-speed
Freezes
pitch
him. Hitter for Heidenheim. He is not happy about that call, but Lukey does have a hard, sharp-breaking slider.
And it looked like a good pitch. It looked like it
looked
caught
solid.
the corner. No reason to be upset about that.
Yeah,
that's just a great
Heidenheim's
pitch.
coaching staff doesn't seem to be like wincing at it or anything. Hit the spot pretty well. And we have 2 outs now, right?
2 outs.
All right. Sure. Just making sure here.
So the number 9 batter, Hull, the left fielder, comes up. He's 0 for 2 with a walk today. Finds himself in a position of trying to keep things going for the Heideköpfe here in the top of the 9th.
He's looking to run it there at second base. I don't think he's looking to steal, but he is going to be moving on contact. So if a ball makes it through the infield, he is going to score because the outfield's not playing in or anything right now. They're still in pretty standard position at the moment. So it would take an extremely hard hit line drive for them to be able to throw this guy out at home.
2-0 the count now. Steinlein trying to get the 3rd out here, give the Disciples an opportunity to walk this off here in the bottom of the 9th, but before that happens, he's going to need to get a 3rd out. Runners on first and second, 2 outs, 3-3 game. The pitch low.
Oh, and if you're Steinlein here as a closer, the last situation you want to be in is bases loaded. Even with 2 outs, it puts so much pressure on you mentally because then anything scores a run. I mean, just a walk, a hit even scores 2 runs at that point. So he needs to try and battle back here from an unfavorable count.
Catches the corner. Good pitch by Steinlein, finding that outside corner again as he has successfully against previous batter, getting the strikeout. A tale of 2 seasons for Steinlein between last year and this year. Last year, a 2.41 ERA. And
that ball's driven well into left center field. Rosenthal running back, and he's able to make the grab, and that's the speed we like to see from Rosenthal. That ball was well hit, and that's one of those balls that if you're playing at Heidenheim, there's a chance that that ball could be out, and if not, it's at the wall.
But we got lots of real estate out in center field, and Rosenthal chases it down.
It really rewards a guy like Rosenthal who's able to really accelerate and get to top speed and run those balls down. So
3-3. We go to the bottom of the 9th.
Clutch performance by Lucas Steinlein there to shut down the Heideköpfe, and now we will see the Haar Disciples have a chance to get a walk-off win here in the bottom of the 9th inning. So thanks for tuning in. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by Brouwerij Wildbrooi.
Bottom of the 9th, 3-3 ball game. First pitch to Wallace is a strike from the reliever, Mike Bolsenbrook, trying to keep Heideköpfe in the game. Force extra innings here with 3 outs. Next pitch to Wallace is fouled back. Almost caught up to that one.
And you got a good situation for the Disciples right here. All the pressure's on Heidenheim right now.
Yeah.
And if David Wallace is able to come up clutch here and get on base to roll the lineup over, that really puts the Disciples in a good spot.
Wallace 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. It's a common line for the Disciples hitters today. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them so far.
He put some okay swings on balls. He's just got to put it in the field somewhere.
And
that ball is up and in.
Buzzes the tower.
And I know I've said a lot so far this game, but that's the one ball you don't want to win. The ball coming at your face, you probably shouldn't stick your head in there unless you're really brave and you really trust your helmet.
We'll allow that one. Want to keep our first baseman in the game in case we got to run back out there for defense. The 2-2 count. And ground ball to third baseman. Bill Germain scoops it, makes the throw to first base. Wallace retired. 5-3 on the ground out. And the top of the order for the Disciples will now come up with Will Thorpe. Will does have a base hit today. One of 2 Disciples hits. And boy, it would be big to see him put something in one of those big gaps out in the outfield.
And you're hearing chants of Will, Will, Will in the crowd. He's the guy, man. He's Disciples. He's come up clutch probably more times than you can count in situations like this for this team. So he's got the experience. You got veteran on veteran here, pitcher, hitter.
How many times have these guys faced each other in the Bundesliga Süd?
So many times had to have been.
Pitch from Bolsenbroek off speed is left up. Will shakes it off. Ball 2.
You can see, you know, if you're Will, you want to find that fastball, and if you're Bolsenbroek, you probably don't want to give him a fastball. So, but he jams him up with the fastball. So, Will just a little bit slow getting around there, gets him up and in again, and that is 2 outs for the Heideköpfe. So we are 1 out away from going into extra innings here in Haar, with Patrick Music stepping up to the plate.
First pitch from Bolsenbroek, an off-speed pitch for a strike.
That's a nice little changeup there.
And he drives one to left field on a line, but again,
Good.
right at the outfielder.
Good shot by Patrick Music. Can't hit it much better than that. Just didn't really get up, and yeah, the left fielder just takes about a step back and catches that ball no problem. So
Bonus baseball.
yeah, here we go. Going into the top of the 10th. Don't see that too often here in Haar. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I hope everybody sticks around to see a good game we've got going on here. Brought to you by Brouwerij Wildbrooi.
So we are in the
yeah, they do international rules
top
now.
of the 10th inning here in Haar, tie ball game. And what that means, the extra inning rule in the German Bundesliga is that the 2 zombie runners, the last 2 batters in the order, will be placed on first and second for the next batter up. And so here we are in the top of the 10th, and the Heideköpfe have runners on first and second with nobody out. And the bunt, first attempt, the pitch is fouled back.
And this is exactly what you're going to see pretty much every single time. This is a tried and true strategy that was basically developed in fast-pitch softball 20 years ago when this became a thing. I remember watching my sister all the time growing up. They call it the international tiebreaker. And so as soon as you start these extra innings, you're going to get the bunt down to get that runner over to third, and then you get a couple chances to hit away. You basically sacrifice 1 out to give your team 2 chances to score this runner from third.
Get him over, get him in, as they say. Steinlein will look at second, trying to keep them honest. Off the first pitch, the Disciples had a defensive play on where third baseman had crashed, and it looked like the shortstop was making a break for third. Now Will giving new signs from the catcher position to the defense. No balls, 1 strike. Pitcher Lucas Steinlein coming
already
set.
squared around a bunt. I don't know if that was intentional, but they pitched out to him there since they had a 1-strike lead, just to see if the runner was going to get moving a little early. I don't think Heidenheim is going to try and take that base unless the bunt gets down. I think they're playing it pretty safe, but the Disciples do have a bunt play on.
I think Heidenheim trusts their leadoff batter to get the ball down.
Yeah, the Disciples, if he does get this bunt down, the Disciples are trying to go and get this out at third.
Music breaking in from third base, and the bunt goes down the third baseline, and pitcher's able to make a play.
Excellent play by Lucas Steinlein.
Music, the third baseman, read that the ball was going to go foul and left it, and Lucas took charge of the situation, makes the play.
I had the same read as Music there. That ball looked like it was going left, and unfortunately this late in the game when the dirt's a little chipped up and stuff over there, it looked like it kicked right a little bit, and Steinlein read it instantly, and he picked it up and fired it over to first and got that out. That was a fantastic play by him. Unfortunately for the Disciples, they weren't able to get the out at third, but they were able to get something out of it. So here we are, 1 out, runners on second and third. Heideköpfe was able to convert on that bunt, and this is their guy. This is
Gary Owens up to bat now for the Heideköpfe. The Disciples infield is in. They are all on the grass, looking to keep the Heideköpfe runners from scoring.
I'm surprised the outfield is still as deep as it is. If he hits the ball over your head as an outfield, I mean, if he hits the ball deep, the run scores anyways. I know it's not a walk-off win for them. A double doesn't do much more damage than a single here, though. So, well, all this is dependent on whether or not he's actually able to get the ball out there somewhere.
The pitch to Gary Owens, low.
They might pitch around him, too.
They may, with open base at first. They gave him an automatic walk last time up with an open base.
Yeah, it's not the worst play in the world in this situation when you have 2 runners in scoring position to just fill them up, put the force everywhere. That gives you the force at home plate, which can really help stop the runs. So you can kind of see it here. They're not intentionally walking him, but they're not throwing to him either. They're not leaving anything up to chance really here. They're leaving it a little bit off the outside corner, hoping he's going to maybe chase a little bit, but he's not biting so far. Thorpe lined up on the outside corner. Steinlein misses. Broken bat line drive through the middle. That's going to be a base hit, and 2 runs are going to score on that. That was a missed pitch by Lucas Steinlein.
Dramatic play.
Yeah, right back through the middle, right at Steinlein. The bat shattered. That bat is broken into 3 or 4 pieces at this point. The bat actually shot out towards Steinlein, which as a pitcher can be scary because small pieces of that thing can come off as well. Then you have 2 projectiles flying at you because it's not like the ball was moving much faster than the bat.
So on the broken bat single, 2 runs will score. The runners from third and second both cross. As you mentioned, the outfield was deep, and that ball didn't make it far into the outfield.
No, not at all.
The bat exploded, and Steinlein had to dodge more than just the ball flying back up the middle. The bat ends up.
Yeah, it's one of those situations with how poorly it was hit. As a pitcher, normally you might stand in there and try and catch that, but when all of a sudden you see a second thing flying at you, you don't know which one's the right one in such a small amount of time. So Lucas Steinlein ducked for cover, hoping and praying he wasn't going to get hit by something. And that's baseball. On a poorly hit ball on a broken bat, basically the best thing you can do as a pitcher The Heideköpfe still score 2 runs, and we now have a runner on first with 1 out. Heidenheim up 5-3.
The Heideköpfe have really benefited from those broken bat and flare hits that just find real estate out there. They just find a way to get the ball through, and they take a 5-3 lead here in the top of the 10th. Steinlein still onto pitch after shaking off, having to dodge the broken bat that ends up just to the side of the mound, as well as a ball that sends him scrambling. So Gary Owens at first base, 1 out. And the number 3 hitter, Sean Larry, who already has a home run today.
Have an opportunity for a double play here, so if Steinlein can get back in here and get some weak contact on a ground ball, this inning could be over in 1 pitch.
And Steinlein gets a strike on the inside corner there. You can see the infield is shifted towards the right side. Second baseman Simon Lechner.
Surprisingly, the outfield hasn't. I would expect him to have even moved over a little bit. At least Rosenthal into right center. That's not the case. He did fly out to left center last time, though, on an off-speed pitch when he was facing Sean.
Steinlein throws an off-speed pitch in the dirt, and it bounces just far enough away from catcher Will Thorpe that the runner on first, Gary Owens, is able to move up, throw from Thorpe fairly close, on the mark, but not in time.
That's really big for Heidenheim, too. That takes away the double play opportunity for them. And now you have another runner in scoring position. So a base hit will probably score Owens here. And that would give them a 3-run lead. So Steinlein has his work cut out for him.
The 1-1 pitch from Steinlein. Called strike. Steinlein's been rubbing up the ball after every pitch.
It's part of the routine. See, the Disciples have turned the lights on out here. You wouldn't notice, but the sun is going down pretty quickly.
Pitcher keeping an eye on runner at second. Batter steps out. Sean Larry calling time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count to Sean Larry. There is 1 out.
Ball back through the middle.
And the shortstop makes the play on a hard hit ball back up the middle and throws to third base.
Yeah, that's a heads-up play by Cal Murphy there.
Gary Owens
get that lead runner. No runners in scoring position now for the Heideköpfe. And, yeah, that's just textbook baseball right there. Cal Murphy on a nice, clean pickup on that ground ball, throws it over to Patrick Music at third, tag him for the out, and now we have 2 outs here. Top of the 10th, runner on first base.
Gary Owens was caught in no man's land on that ball. The ball hit behind him, but
right
hit so
him.
hard that if it had been a foot race back to second base, Cal likely would have tagged him out, maybe even gotten a double play at first on that.
Yeah, not much you can do in a situation like that.
Just got a break.
As Owens.
Good play, a good strong throw by the shortstop.
Yeah, no hesitation there either.
So on the fielder's choice, Sean Larry is now at first base. And Bill Germain, third baseman, is now up at bat. And the pitch is
Ball's
fouled.
popped up straight back, coming towards us. No idea where it is. And it lands in the trees just behind the score booth. I can see it.
It is now Abenddämmerung. The sun has nearly set. We still see some rays falling on the outfield. The left side of the field is no longer in the sun. Nate Thomas, the right fielder for the Disciples, still has a little bit of sun out in his area. And it's an 0-1 count to Jermaine.
Good
Ball in
block
the
there
dirt.
by Thorpe with a runner on first base. Got to make sure that guy stays on first base. Can't let him get into scoring position on something as simple as a pass ball. So good job there.
Jermaine 0 for 3 today with 2 walks. He's scored both times that he's gotten on base. And the fastball from Steinlein high, 2-1.
Doesn't look super comfortable up there, I must say, this whole time. Especially after the broken bat pitch right at him. He's missing a little bit around the zone. Just getting in there enough to make him swing and make contact, though. But as we see, there is a ball number 4 there to walk them. And now we have runners on first and second. So we have another runner in scoring position now. But we do have 2 outs here. We're 1 pitch away from the Disciples getting back into hit.
And the batter now will be Mitch Franke. They pinch ran, the Heideköpfe pinch ran for first baseman Simon Göring after he reached base in his last at bat. And now they will bring up Franke, number 23.
All the fans here having a good time. Energy's high on both sides.
First pitch to Franke, a strike from Steinlein on the outside corner. Franke batting left-handed. Also what we would call an Urgestein in German baseball. Well-known, long career in the Bundesliga. He flies a line drive out to left field, which is caught by the left fielder, Nils Schmidt. And the Disciples hold the Heideköpfe to 2 runs in the top half of the 10th inning.
Yeah, and that's good there. You didn't want to leave anything up for chance, so Heidenheim was able to get those 2 zombie runners in to score off an interesting play, and now the Disciples will get the opportunity to do the same thing here in the bottom of the 10th. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and this is brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu.
Nate Thomas leads things off for the Disciples in the bottom of the 10th here in Haar. Runners on first and second for the Disciples. The zombie runners placed as a function of the extra inning rules in the Bundesliga. And first pitch to Nate is a drag bunt.
That is excellent.
And he beats it out. A drag bunt by the speedy left-handed batter Nate Thomas. And he bunts for base hit.
That's a textbook drag bunt right there. Gets it just hard enough to get back past the pitcher, in between the first baseman and the second baseman, and he's got serious speed on him, so he was able to easily beat that out.
I don't think the second baseman was expecting the bunt to come to this side.
No, definitely not at all. Not at all.
Not anticipating having to cover first base for the first baseman, but Franke ends up coming in to field the bunt.
So that's a great start for the Disciples here in the bottom of the 10th. Bases
safe.
loaded, nobody out.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Disciples trail by 2 runs. And the batter, Cal Murphy.
This is what we call hero time.
First pitch, a strike from Bolsenbrook.
So Cal Murphy on a base hit ties the game up here. And with Natashawn Thomas on first base on a base hit, he could easily make it to third, which would put them in excellent position to win the game. But that is not what you want to see. That is an infield fly, so he is out. And so now we have bases loaded, 1 out here. Yeah, he skied that ball right to the second baseman, didn't even have to move, and that's not what you want to see. Still not over. Only 1 out, bases loaded here. So the Disciples have 2 more chances to bring in 2 runs.
Bolsenbrook throwing his 5th inning in this game, as we are here in extra innings. The starter, Sven Schuler, went 5 innings, allowed 1 hit, gave up 3 runs.
Other than that, he's been really efficient, though. His innings have been quick and clean, not a lot of base runners.
Just 2 base runners by Bolsenbrook, 1 hit and 1 walk over his 4+ innings at this point. First pitch from Bolsenbrook, a fastball on the outside corner to Joe Rosenthaler.
Honestly, that's the pitch you should be looking for, a fastball down. You don't want to be popping up like in the previous at-bat. So that fastball down gives you an opportunity to ground ball with the corners in right now.
And that's
what you want to see. He hits it right back at Bolsenbrook.
Bolsenbrook makes the play to home. He wore it in the stomach.
Yep.
That is,
he
does not look like he's enjoying that sensation right now.
No, but that is a clutch play by him. Yeah, that was a hard hit ground ball that ended up taking a relatively big jump up into his stomach on the beginning of the mound there. And he was able to knock it down, kept his composure, got the force out at home. So here we are, Disciples, 2 outs, bases loaded, down by 2. Bases loaded, already said that.
Bases loaded, nobody out, 2 outs.
2 outs.
2 outs. Disciples down to their last chance.
He's gonna get a couple warm-up throws here just to make sure he's not injured.
And he says he's fine.
Yeah. You know he's gonna finish this game out. So we got Bickle here. Lucas Bickle up to bat.
Disciples batting average leader this season. They could use a base hit right here. First pitch, a strike from Bolsenbrook. Fastball down the middle.
He's ready to fill up the zone. He's gonna make the Disciples prove that they can earn these runs.
And with Natashawn Thomas at second base, they've got speed.
That's a swing and a miss from Bickle on a fastball right down the middle. Looked like he was a little bit late on it. So Bolsenbrook's in prime position to close this at bat out. Crowd's pretty electric here right now. This could be the last pitch of the game. But it could also be a 1-swing tie. And
Ground
that ball's...
The third baseman does not have it.
No, Nate!
Drops the ball, but Nate runs through the base.
That is a not heads-up play. That is a bonehead play.
We're not sure what the call is.
He's going to be out. He's going to be out. Okay, so what just happened?
Are calling time. We'll try to describe what happened.
So what just happened? I'm sorry I wasn't able to switch the camera.
Ground ball to third base is bobbled by the third baseman, and the third baseman went to make the tag, and the ball popped out of his glove when he made the tag, but Nate didn't see the ball pop out, and he ran through third base. The umpires are calling him out.
As he should be, because then as soon as he ran third base, the third baseman just went and picked up the ball and went and stepped on the base to get the force out. So technically they're the 1-run scorers from third base, making it 4-3, but Yeah, that is a mental mistake
tough way
on
to
the
end
part
the
of
game for the
Natashon
Disciples.
Thomas. He should have been sliding there to avoid the tag anyways. Yeah, unfortunate way to end the game, but that's the right call from the umpire. So, yeah, Heidenheim will take the win in this first game of the series. They will play again tomorrow at Heidenheim.
Heideköpfe take back a spot atop the rankings, the standings in the Bundesliga Süd, pulling even with the Legionäre. The Disciples, unfortunately, their 4-game winning streak comes to an end. They fall to 6-11. 2.5 games back out of that 4th and final playoff spot.
Well, we had a game there for a long while. For a little bit, it looked like the Disciples were going to give in when they got down by 3 runs, and they were able to battle back, take advantage of some mistakes by the Heideköpfe, and we had a 3-3 game for a long time there. So to take this into extra innings for them was big, but they just weren't able to pull it away. And as we've seen basically the whole season, the bats just never really came alive today. So.
Yeah, the pitching kept them in the game until the very end. They found ways to score runs, but it's tough to win with 2 hits. That's a tough situation.
Yeah, 2 hits isn't going to win you many games. 2 hits aren't very often going to get you 3 runs even.
Yeah.
So,
but what a game. What a game.
It was exciting, and we hope that you all enjoyed the broadcast, and we hope that you tune in for our future home games and tomorrow when they're playing there. So, yeah, I'm Nolan West.
I'm Ty Erickson.
And, yeah, we'll talk to you guys again later. So, have a good one.
Kommst nach Heidenheim.